or something pop up on your screen. And what that does, Curtis, it means we are live, brother man. But you know this shit's fire. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pin to Gas podcast on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Everybody knows we got the last MotoGP race coming up, and you guys know I'm fucking Team Martin. Let's go, right? Yeah, absolutely. Leave a comment down below to who you guys are rooting for. But again, if you're not on Team Martin, shame on you. But anyway, this episode is sponsored by Next Level Financial. Take control of your financial future. Get your complimentary financial analysis today by Seth Starnes. And Curtis, I tell everybody, don't spend your hard-earned money on an aftermarket and off the rack suit, right? Because for 90% of us, it's not going to fit you correctly. When you have a suit that don't fit you correctly, it causes all kinds of issues on a bike. I tell everybody, go to bisontrack.com, sign up for that full custom suit. It's super simple, super easy to do, and it's custom tailor-made specifically for you. Plus, Tasha, Robert, and Carter are some of the best people you're ever going to meet in your life, right? So bisontrack.com, people, let's freaking go. I don't know why I have a hard time talking. It's been like that all day. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor today to sit down with Isaac's dad and the legend himself, Curtis Woodworth. What's going on, Curtis?
How you doing?
Good, man. I've been super excited about this. I don't know why I haven't asked you earlier to do this. But yeah, here we are, right? I think it's important for, again, like I said, this off camera, for people to, especially those that are looking to get in the sport, to get a parent's perspective on how they get to Moto America and where you guys are. And that's part of the journey. It's also part of helping our sport grow too as well. So, Curtis, again, welcome to the show, man. And I just want to let everybody know, and I told you this, listen, I'm good friends with Curtis and Isaac, as everybody knows. And thank you so much for all the tickets you provided me this year for Moto America. Listen, I'm super grateful. And I will be hitting you up next year too as well. So, but anyway, listen, Curtis, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to sit down for an hour. So yeah, man, let's just get into it. You're obviously in your wood shop today. I see the Legends bike right there in the background and all the stuff that goes with it. But let's start on your journey, Curtis, because obviously you've been a motorcycle fan. Otherwise, Curtis wouldn't be riding right now, right? So tell us your humble beginnings of your motorcycle story at the earliest stage.
My motorcycle beginning. I grew up essentially with a single mom and always had a desire to ride motorcycles, and she didn't want me having no part of motorcycles. She always told me I would never get a motorcycle. But I always wanted one and always asked for a motorcycle, and always, I remember freaking daydreaming all the time when we were in car rides. We'd go car rides, and I was just looking at the side of the road, just dreaming about being on a dirt bike, riding it. And always had a passion for motorcycles. Then once I got older, buddies had dirt bikes. First time I got a chance to ride a dirt bike, my buddy was like, "You know how to ride it?" "Oh yeah, I know how to ride it." Figured it out, but
real quick, right?
Yeah, it was fun. But so just my first beginnings was riding friends' dirt bikes. I lived in kind of city area, grew up in a kind of city-ish area, but I had woods behind my mom's house, and everybody would come over there, and then we had a little trail that we would ride the dirt bikes on, and we would go have time trials and stuff with dirt bikes around the trail. We only had one to share. It was one of my buddies. So that was my first beginnings. And then once I got old enough to get a job and everything and moved out on my own, I ended up buying a used bike off of Craigslist, an old beater, CBR F1. So 89 Hurricane. So that was my very first bike. Had that for a little while, but none of my buddies had them. So I had some friends that had dirt bikes. I ended up selling. I got a dirt bike, rode a little bit on that. But then ended up running out of real places to ride. You had to travel so far. So used to be a lot of places local, and there weren't any real local places. So I decided to go back to street bikes, and I got a Buell XB9R, which a buddy of mine came by a couple years prior to that and let me ride his. And he's like, "I'm gonna tell you right now, apologize to you because once you ride it, you're gonna want one." And which it didn't bite me right then, but once I got back in the market, I was looking at bikes and it was an affordable bike. It wasn't stupid fast, but it handled good and it looked like to me like the perfect street bike. And so I bought one, ended up riding it for a couple of years. I got on the forums and ended up one of the guys on the forum, they had a Tale of the Dragon meet that they did. It was the 5th year they did it, 2012. And one of the guys had some family was planning on coming with them to stay at Deal's Gap, right at the little motel right on the Tail of the Dragon. It has a queen bed and 2 bunk beds. He had a family supposed to come, they backed out. So he's like, "Yeah, I got the bunk beds, $20 a night for anybody who wants to come up." So I hit him up. I was like, "I can come up Thursday, Friday, Saturday," and he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Shoot, so $60, I can go up here." And like the only thing I knew about motorcycles at that point essentially was riding locally in Florida, and we don't even have curves. So like we don't wear helmets down here. Like you know, flip flops, like in shorts, and go riding, and stupid stuff too, like 100 mile. You know what I'm saying? Triple digits on the highway swerving, and it's just stupid. But like that's all I knew. I get up there, and everybody's in full leathers. Like I show up in jeans and tennis shoes. Like I had an Alpine Star textile jacket and a helmet that I just bought so that I could go up there and ride. Gloves, jeans, and tennis shoes. And I show up and everybody has full leathers, and I'm like, bro, like essentially I'm like, this is badass. Like I want to do this. Like I want to fucking like they're dragging me and everything around the corners. You got photographers around the corners, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Like I want to ride like that. So like I went out riding still and rode the mountains and stuff with just stupidly in the gear that I had. I didn't really push that hard. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I still went out on the road, had a great time, ended up getting some gear. Ended up getting some gear and going back the next year. And then when I got back after that second trip to the Dragon on the same Buell forum that got me up there, a guy posted saying, "Hey, I got a track day, free track day. I got 2 of them. I'm going to use one, and it's open to somebody else. They want to come ride with me. I've just got Saturday available to go. If anybody wants to come ride," and I'm like, for free. So I'm like, I had bought the gear to go up there to the Tail of the Dragon for the second year. So I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, I need to get tires and this and that." It was the beginning of the week, and I was like, "Give me till Friday. I'll let you know. But hey, if anybody else steps up and say they want it, don't hold it for me. Give it to them. But I'll let you know Friday. If you still have it, I'll hit you up." I got everything in order that I needed, and I hit him up Friday, and it was still available. So I went and did my first track day, and then the rest was history. Like done riding street. Definitely, anytime I rode street, I wore gear from here on. From there on out, I got some sense and learned about riding and learned. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I remember the first time I showed up to track day. Um, Watching the advanced guys, it blew my mind how fast they were going, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Kind of made me step back. Like I thought I was fast. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming from the streets, and I'm thinking that I'm pretty quick. And whenever I get there and I see these guys, and I'm like, "Whoa, yeah, I don't know anything." Put everything in perspective real fast. And but started doing track days. Um, Next thing you know, the whole time I was doing track days, I had I have kids, so I was like always interested in how to get them involved, and I was always asking, "Hey, how do I get my kids involved in this? Like I used to hear stories about Jennings is my home track, and that's pretty much I rode there and PBIR. Those are the only two tracks besides minis that I've ever even rode. But I used to go to Jennings all the time. That was my home track. And you hear stories about these kids coming 12 years old and doing these freaking expert lap times, on which the expert lap time at Jennings they say is a 1:30 in order to ride expert. So like being a novice and being new to the program and new to track days, like that's like the bar of fast people, and you got these little kids coming out there doing that in better times. And so I'm like, that's cool. Like, how do I get my kids involved? And at the time, nobody had an answer for me. And then one of the coaches that were there, he had this little XR 100 set up for mini moto, and I was like, hey, that's cool. Like, where do you ride that at? And he told me there's a track at Bushnell, which is closer to me than Jennings was. And he's like, this track Bushnell that they that you run mini motos. You just come up there, you set your bike up, and you can just come up and pay. It was like $40 at a time for a track day. Go up there and ride, and you can ride all day. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So I started looking into that. And at that time, I was looking into racing for myself. I got my race license and was looking to do my first race. They had the local series. It was FMRRA at the time. It's now Pan Am Superbike, but it used to be Florida Motorcycle Road Racing Association. It was the last race at Jennings ever. I was planning on trying to do that, so I was getting everything in order, trying to do that, and I found out about South Florida Mini GP. So I still went and did the race, but after I did the race, I took a step back and I looked at everything, and I taught myself. I didn't even know, like self-taught, really didn't know anything. I was slow. So I'm sitting there looking at, put everything in perspective. I'm like, I'm slow. What am I going to gain from this other than like self-joy? But I got the kids at home. Let me look into this mini stuff a little bit more. So I went out and rented some bikes from Michael and tried that out with Isaac. Actually, my oldest son, Joseph, rode with us too. He rode and had a great time and went out with them, and which we were doing a little bit of dirt bike riding and stuff at the time. I had a couple of dirt bikes. Joseph was really getting into the dirt bikes and stuff. He was putting his own money into buying boots and whatnot, and really interested in it. Actually, you know what? He's bought those. That was road racing. So we got into the minis after we did a little bit of dirt bike and then found the minis. My oldest son was getting into it, and then all of a sudden just completely lost interest. But essentially Isaac started getting faster than him, and he's so competitive that he just was like, bro, like, I don't want to do it no more. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, I got tons of pictures of you with a smile all over your face, loving, having a great time out there. I was like, you don't have to be competitive, just come out and ride. And he's like, no, I'm done with it, completely done with it. But Isaac kept on riding, and I ended up selling my track bike, traded my track bike for a mini essentially, and started racing with Isaac and got Isaac. One of the guys that coached Isaac at the first South Florida Mini GP camp that I went to, Daryl Rawls, ended up helping me out and Isaac out. He told me that he saw something in Isaac right off the rip, and he's like, hey, I want to try to help you out. He sold me a CRF 50 for a few $100 when he could have easily got $1,000 for it, completely set up. But he's like, hey, I want to help you out. I want to make sure you get Isaac out here. Isaac, we were playing baseball full time. I was always a baseball coach. Like my oldest son played baseball. My uncle was a big baseball guy. I grew up playing a little bit of baseball and stuff. My uncle ran the city of Sanford after I was out of it. While I was there, he umpired and stuff for the city of Sanford. But once Joseph was 4 years old, my oldest, he was running the city of Sanford. He ended up calling me up one day and telling me, hey, I signed up Joseph for T-ball and you're coaching. And I'm like, whoa. I'm not coaching. I don't know how to coach. He's like, it's T-ball, you know baseball. He's like, you'll be all right. Essentially, like you're just assistant coach. You help out. You'll be fine. Go ahead. And ended up all the way till just years and years and years. We did travel ball. I ended up coaching years and years and years of baseball. So Isaac was a baseball kid, and he knew that we were involved in that. So it's like he was trying to open the door to us to let me know, hey, like I really think your kid has potential. Like take this bike. He ended up giving it to me for way cheaper than he should have. And so we started riding a little bit more. He started practicing a little bit more, but we were still doing the baseball thing, and he was committed to baseball. He wanted to do Cooperstown, is what he wanted to do. At 12 years old, he wanted to do Cooperstown. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a big tournament that they do for 12-year-old kids, and it's 12-year-old only up in New York, and it's like one of the most prestigious tournaments that essentially you can do for baseball. And I think that the Baseball Hall of Fame and stuff's up there, and all types of stuff that it's supposed to be a great experience. But COVID hit. He wasn't able to do that. COVID hit, and they wanted all the money up front, which it was for the team. It was like a $20,000 trip. It's a crazy expensive trip. They did all kinds of fundraising and stuff to come up with the funds and everything. And they wanted everything up front. And then they said with COVID, if you had a test before you flew up, and if anybody in the party, or once you got there, you had a test before you flew up, then you had a test when you got there. Then you had to wait 3 days and test again or something, and you had to get there early for 3 days early. And if anybody in the party tested positive, you forfeit your spot and all your funds. So they backed out of that, and we're going to this other tournament. Anyways, long story short, Isaac broke his wrist, couldn't play. Riding motorcycles at Bushnell, trying to hot rod. His great buddy Matt Dexter, the photographer, was down at the bottom of the bridge, and of course Isaac wants to show out and high sides himself to the moon and breaks his wrist. But so he can't play the baseball tournament. Ended up, I'm like, hey, you can't play baseball. Aaron Dreyer, Avery was in Moto America at the time, and then also in the Mini Cup. Ella was racing in the Mini Cup. I think Carter might have been racing in the Mini Cup too. So we were looking to do a couple wild cards, which that's why we started Broken Fast Racing, was for the Mini Cup. That's where that all started. But Aaron and them were going to be up in Wisconsin, and so I hit him up and was like, hey, can we come hang out with you and help out and check everything out and learn the ropes of the Mini Cup, and you know what I'm saying, come watch the racing up there, watch Avery and root him on and check everything out. And he's like, absolutely. So instead of flying to the tournament with the team, we decided to fly to Moto America, and that was our first Moto America event that we ever even attended. So we went and checked that out and fell in love. I fell in love with that track. That place is phenomenal. Road America, oh my God. Just miles and miles and miles. Just, you can see the whole track pretty much from just the trails and everything all around. In the atmosphere there, just the people there, it's awesome. And then but anyway, so we flew up there and hung out and learned a little bit about Moto America and learned a little bit about the Mini Cup and hung out with some great friends. And next thing you know, we went to Pittsburgh. Isaac's arm healed, and the next round was Pittsburgh Mini Cup. And we sent our stuff up with Aaron and John. John trailered our stuff up for us, and we sent it all up, and we rented a car and drove up, and that was our first introduction to National Series racing. I guess I jumped all over the whole mini GP. Getting way ahead of myself. But I got to go back to mini GP because you got to talk about Michael Correa and the whole program there and everything that did for us, because him and his program is absolutely phenomenal. I can't speak high enough about it. Like, it's great. Like if you want your kids to get involved, like that's where they need to be at. And and then if you can't come to Florida, then find a mini organization and get your kids around. Like, so my philosophy is I came up from baseball coach. I gave you that little bit of background. I got into baseball big. My son went on to play a little bit of high school and stuff. I don't want to talk about all the politics in the high school baseball, but so we won't go there. But he was a good baseball player. He 15 years old. He was throwing 86 from the mound, 91 from the outfield. Like he was good, and I got a bunch of exposure to like high level training and high level, you know what I'm saying, baseball coaching and stuff. And it's huge here, and especially in Florida. Like Florida baseball is the biggest sport that we have here, and for especially for youth males, and kids play. Some of them play every weekend, and then they go to high school. They're not even going to high school. They go to camps. They go to camps that they go to their 4 major courses to learn on the computer. They do their online 4 courses, and then all their electives are baseball. They're out on the baseball field, or they have batting cages there. They're in the batting cages, or they have bullpens where they're just pitching. They have a weight room where they're working out. Like these kids are completely dedicated their whole lives to the sport. So my philosophy is that's what we need here, which Michael has the start of it. You know what I'm saying? Getting these kids even introduced to the sport. Like that's the first step. And then Michael's building a whole foundation. But the whole goal that I think that we all should have is getting an American overseas on the top step, like MotoGP. Like we have no representation there. And I feel like the reason why we don't have any representation there is for the fact that we're not training like they are there. And we are, and then they always say, oh, we don't have the facilities, we don't have this, we don't have that. It's all excuses. We can make it. Like if we really wanted to, like we would have the stuff. Like, but of course it takes money, and nobody's pressing up the money. But if we trained like we did with baseball, like we have the best baseball players in the world, hands down, because of how we train. The same thing, we do the same thing with basketball. We have basketball camps for that. We have football camps for that. Like we have elite athletes.
Has she been out?
Yeah, she's been out, babe.
Okay, well, she wants in here.
All right, we'll send her on in. Sorry, my wife busting open the door. You probably see my son bust open the door too, like he does.
Oh yeah, always. It's good.
Yeah. But my dog wanted
But
to come in, so yeah. But anyway, sorry. Go
then
ahead.
you look like even like our Olympic athletes, like we stand out athletically. Like there's no reason that we shouldn't stand out on motorcycles. The only reason is because it takes a back seat here. And if we put more effort into it, like we need academies for the kids to go to. Like who could afford that though? Like I couldn't afford to send my kid to an academy, you know what I'm saying, to go to school and ride motorcycles all day because the price is going to be astronomical. But if we got enough support, like if you had Dunlop step up, or you know what I'm saying, and have a manufacturer step up with cheap bikes, I believe you could do it with. We have academy like this with the Z125. I know a lot of people think that they're turds and whatnot, but I've seen what they've done for Isaac. I've seen what they did for Andrew Way. That's another kid that I helped introduce into the sport and help coach with, and me and Isaac helped coach along. And I use the same philosophies and same tactics that I pushed Isaac with outside of course, Michael's MotoGP. But like, I guess at the end of the day, if you're going to be serious about it, you got to be, it takes more than just riding here and there. You got to be working at home. You got to be working. So at 12 years old, Isaac broke his wrist. and missed out on that tournament. And he ended up telling me in that time, he's like, "Hey, Dad, like I think it was actually no, it was before that. At the beginning of that year, we did a South Florida Mini GP 3-day camp, which we had never done a camp before. We have only just went and raced when we could because he was so involved with baseball. So it was always up until he was 12, he only rode when he could, which we made a lot of the events, don't get me wrong, but it was second to us. We definitely didn't do any training at home. He was a travel baseball kid. We practiced 3 days a week. We were at the baseball field 3 days a week for 2 hours plus each night. And then we were at tournaments on the weekends, every other weekend. You know what I'm saying? Saturday and Sunday. And playing on high quality teams where you're staying there. You're not just playing 2 games and going home. You're winning games, so you're staying there late and everything. So it was a big commitment. So once at 12 years old, he told me, Dad, we did that 3-day camp with Michael Correa. And then during that camp, he really started clicking and really started grooving, and like, I don't know what it was, but he really started finding a passion for motorcycles because he came up to me during the camp and he's like, Dad, I don't want to play baseball no more. I just want to race motorcycles. And I'm like, bro, like our baseball season starts like the year before in July. Like the year starts July and goes to the next year. So I'm like, bro, you're already committed to a baseball team. You said you wanted to do to Cooperstown. Like, you're committed, so you got to do that. I'm like, now after Cooperstown, that's in the summer. That's the end of the season. If you decide you want to just race from there on out, cool, you can do that. But one stipulation is, all my kids, I tell them, you gotta have an extracurricular activity. You're not just gonna hang out around the house and play video games. So I'm like, you've always had baseball. That's what, I've never forced him to do anything. He's always wanted to play baseball. He said he wanted to play. I forced him to finish out his commitment. But after that, I'm like, hey, if you want to race, you got to put the same commitment into racing as baseball. Like, you got to come home and you got to practice. You got to work out. You got to run. You got to cycle. You got to act like a racer and learn how to be a racer. You know what I mean? And if that's what you want to do, you got to put a commitment to it. If you put a commitment to it, then I'll support you as much as I can. Limited, but I'll try to do as much as I can. And so he said, yeah, at that point. And so ended up at that camp that same weekend that he's talking to me about this. Oh my God, the legends that were there that weekend. Roger Hayden was there coaching. Hopkins was there coaching. It was American Racing Team was there. They had a little mini cup team and stuff, so they came to check it out and support Michael and support road racing and check it out. The owner of American Racing Team was there, even. But then not even like that's outside of that. Like, that was awesome to have those people there. But then, like, Michael always has his legends that are always there too. Scott Stump. Like, Scott Stump. That's a bad man. He's a fast old man that he's whooping up on them kids and teaching them how to be fast and teaching them racecraft. And then he's a legend too. Like, he used to coach the Haydens. Like, he lived at the Haydens. It's in the Haydens book about him staying there and building the flat track for him and coaching the kids and whatnot. And so, like, that, like, Michael used to bring that. They come down from New Jersey. Michael started everything from New Jersey. So New Jersey was part of New Jersey Mini GP. He's the one that, I'm pretty sure, which I don't know a lot about New Jersey Mini GP other than what I've seen down here. But man, he used to bring all the fast kids down to come down here and race, like Bosch and
Gus
and Rod
Rodeo and
Gus
yeah, man.
Rodeo.
Mazziato. I mean, the list is
Yeah,
long.
like
Yeah.
he brought all those kids down to Florida to race against us and stuff, and that was helping boost up our program. But they all come down and coach, and they're all there. Posh is there coaching and riding with the kids, and I'm not sure all of them, but there were so many people there just coaching the kids and wanting to give back to the community and stuff, and that was awesome. And there were so many kids there too, and so much going on that weekend. What ended up really getting me hooked and getting me to bite the bullet and try to do whatever I could for Isaac was I walked up to Michael he was on the track. They were working with the kids in it was at Palm Beach International Race Fair, and they had a little loop at the front that they had the kids working at. And I walk up because I walk into the classroom to give Isaac some water and got bombarded by kids like, I want water, I want water, I want water. And I'm like, whoa, like I got waters, but I don't know that I can freaking give everybody in the classroom a water. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have no waters next time I need a water. So I went and checked. I was like, I got to go check with Michael and see if he has waters for these kids or what the deal is with that. So I went and talked to Michael. And I'm like, and as I'm walking up, Michael's talking to Scott Stump, and Michael looks at Stump and looks at me, and he's like, that's his dad right there. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, what the hell do you do? Like,
I'm here just for water.
Yeah, like I just came over here for some water, and now like Isaac's in trouble. Like, would be being a little jackass. And like he's a great kid, but he's a kid. He's like I tell everybody, in order to ride a motorcycle as fast as he does, you got to be a little crazy. So I got to give him a little bit of slack there, here and there, because he's definitely got a few screws loose. But anyway, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe he did something wrong. Like, why are they talking about that's his dad? I'm pretty new to the program. I don't know Michael that well at the time neither. So, which I was probably in a couple of years then, but I probably was okay with Michael. But he's like, there's his dad. Anyways, long story short. And Scott looks at me and he's like, your son has it. And I'm like, and I'm kind of dumbfounded. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, so, and then he's like, nah, bro, when I tell your son has it, your son has it. He's like, I coach a lot of kids. And he's like, I freaking coach the Hayden kids. Like, I stayed there with them. And he's like, the same crap I seen or the same stuff I seen in the Hayden boys I see in your son. And I'm like dumbfounded, like, bro, like, and like he's like, when you get that boy on some of the handles, he's gonna amaze you essentially. Because I was, like I said, I freaking did everything what I could, and I just put stuff together and budgeted everything. Like I had that 50 that was good from the guy, but ended up building a 110 that was a death trap probably. And then I had him on a Z at the camp. I think I had just got a Z for him at the camp, and Scott Stump is not a fan of the Z's or the Groms, but although I rode him and became a big fan of him, and ended up working out for us. But that was like when he told me that, like I was like, man, I was like, I don't know if he's told other people this, or if he tells people this, goes around and tells all kids this to keep people interested or into the sport or whatnot. I don't think so, because he's a freaking straight shooter. Like, one of the last times I seen him was at Anderson. I walk in and he's like busting my balls about being slow, like no holds bar, like this. He don't hold anything back type of person. You know what I'm saying? So for him to tell me that, like, I really took it to heart, and I was like, I never even really talked to Isaac about that or anything. I tried to keep that from him, but of course he's probably heard me over the years tell a story or whatnot. But like that made me feel like, bro, what if? Like, what if he does have it? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's try it. Let's give it a try. Let's see. Like, let's pursue it as far as we can. Like, one thing I won't do is I won't go extremely in debt and mortgage my house or anything like that to get him a ride or anything like that. Like, if over the year, like we got into the minis, got into the mini GP to try that out, the Moto America stuff, did the mini cup, wild cards, a couple of that to try that out. I got burnt. I feel a little bit with that, but I bought into the wrong bike at the wrong time. I bought the GPO, and the next year it was house for the GP2. So it ended up we were planning on doing more of that because that was affordable racing, and he was 12 years old, and to give him an introduction, like we went and did the 2 wild cards and found out that we were fast at home, but we didn't know nothing on a national stage. Like, it's a whole different ballpark. Like, these kids, even at the Moto America Mini Cup with the Ovalis, like there was a trip to Spain on the line. There were people showing up with mechanics and full outfits and stuff. I bought a used bike from the year before from somebody that moved on to Spain, and you know what I'm saying, for half the price of a new one. And that's all we took up there. That, a canopy, and some couple spare parts, and then we depended on Brannick or two to have support for everything else when he wadded the bike in the first corner at about 75 miles an hour. Bro, I've never seen a crash. I've never seen a bike flip like that. Like, those Avalis, I know that I wasn't a big fan of them at first because they were so expensive and whatnot. But man, when we owned one, and they were a good training tool, and they crashed very well. Like, man, he laid that thing down in the into the first turn at Pittsburgh. That's a fast corner. Like, he had to have been going at least 60, 75 miles an hour. I don't know, but that thing hit the grass and flipped and spun, and it looked like stuff you see on TV, to where the bike, next thing you know, they pan off the bike and then they pan back to it and it's in pieces. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm like, there's no way that bike. And then he runs over to it and grabs it and starts kicking it, kickstarting. They got a kickstart on it. He's trying to kick it to get it started. And I'm like, it's during qualifying one, and he's trying to kickstart it to get it going. And I'm sitting here looking, thinking, like, where are the corner workers? Why are they letting that kid attempt to ride that bike? Like, that thing should be in pieces right now. Like, it can't be rideable. He got it started before anybody made it to him and took off. He ended up coming back to the pits, but like, I couldn't even believe that thing survived that. And he rode it back to the pits. It had a bent subframe, bent exhaust, and triple, or not triple, the clip on. And that was about it. I freaking put a bar in the freaking subframe and bent it all back. And
Anybody got a blowtorch? Shh. Yes, sir. I need a blowtorch. Who's got one?
But that was the introduction to the national stage. And yeah, and he had the issue with the bike and whatnot. And he wasn't that fast yet compared to those kids. Like, that was different. Like, we did South Florida Mini GP and he was fast here. But you go to the national stage and they've been doing the whole series. You're just jumping in as a wild card. And people don't understand. Or I think that, like, even me, like, my expectations were higher because I know what he's capable of. And then you get there and it's different. Like, it's different. It's a whole nother caliber because these kids are racing together all year and pushing each other, and they've been stepping it up a notch. They've been doing that iron sharpens iron through the season and getting faster. And you just try to come in, and they know they've been training on the bike for longer, and you know what I mean? You got people in their second, third seasons and whatnot, and you're just coming in as a wild card. It's kind of hard, but it's a learning experience and opens your eyes and lets you know, hey, I know that I can run with these people because when I'm here and there, like, I run with those top guys. So let me put the work in and let me learn what they're doing, you know what I mean, and everything. But then there's a whole nother aspect of the sport, which is once you get out of the mini GP and into the bigger bikes, it starts to become more of a team sport than just the rider. When you're on minis, like everybody's pretty much on clapped out stuff, and it's everybody's just riding the piss out of some clapped out. And yeah, it teaches you to be fast, but once you get to that next level, when you're going against teams that are spending $100,000 for the year to be there, like they're not freaking playing around, and their stuff is on point. You know what I mean? Like they're tearing the bike down in between every round. Some of them tear the bike down every night. Once you get to the bigger levels, they're tearing the bike down every night. Some of them going through the motors. You know what I mean? It becomes more and more of a team sport, which I from the outside looking in, you don't see that. You don't think that. Like you think that it's all the rider, everything. Like this kid's doing all this because he's a badass. Even the bigger teams, you know what I'm saying? It's if they don't have the right team and the right support around them and the right everything, like, which of course it goes into your mental game and everything. Like everything's got to be right in the program once you get to that level, and that's something that, as an outsider, I don't think that you see and you don't realize until you get there. Like you show up, and with the way I feel like I had high expectations. We show up in mini cup and he did bad, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, we weren't as prepared as all these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the kid's got the talent, but we weren't as prepared. And then then we move on and ended up the next year like I said, we wanted to do the Ovali again, and they oust our bike. So I fire sold it, kind of put it for a low price just to kind of piss the whole market off, since I felt like I got screwed and moved the bike. But I was like, I fire sold it for way cheaper than it should have went, and just got rid of it and moved on, and ended up thinking that we weren't the national stage. I wasn't even thinking about it at that point now, and I'm like, what are we gonna do? What's the next bike? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy myself a 450 Supermoto, and I'm gonna start riding a little bit with him again, because I used to ride with him, and I gave it up once he got more serious. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a 450 and I'll ride a little bit here and there. He had his 150R, and I'm like, we can mix it up and ride together. It'll be fun. And so I sold the Ovali and bought a 450. And my thought process was, he was 13 at the time. I'm like, he'll grow into it. At 14, I'll put him on it. I'll race it for a year, and then I'll put him on it. And I get it. And he's like, Dad, I want to race that. And I'm like, bro, you're only 13. Like, the 450, like, that thing's a beast. Like, and then, so South Florida Mini GP has a super motard class, which is absolutely absurd, bro. It's like, they're fast. Like, some pros come out, and like, yeah, like some big names, Sean Dillon Kelly, you'll run away from us. But like, these kids are getting faster and faster. And to be honest with you, we were talking about it just the other day. Michael Correa, I think some of these guys are getting scared to come run with us, that used to come run with us, or that was even thinking about coming to run with us. Michael calls him out, bro. He calls out all the pros and tries to come tell them to come race with us when they're down here for the winter. When we have races, he tries to call them out and tell them to come out and race with us. And Julian, Avery, Isaac, like, they're getting faster and faster on them super motards, and they don't want that. They don't want to see that, I don't think, bro. I'm telling you. Like, still, granted, I'm not gonna say that we're faster than any of them big guys now, but I guarantee if they come out, especially come practice with us, those kids are gonna be freaking on their asses learning, and come out a few times and they're gonna put it on you. You know what I mean? So, but that class is pretty serious, bro. Like they're fast. Like we got a bunch of Spanish folks from South Florida that are a lot of them are all old AMA guys. Bosco is one of the guys that one of the top guys that rides with him. He's old. They said I don't really know his history, but Michael told me he's an old AMA guy, and they go out. He goes out still. He's like 50 years old, bro, and goes out and runs with these kids. And freaking, I remember freaking Michael telling me that Posh was asking him because Posh come down and ride with us. Give Posh props for that. I hope he comes and rides with the kids and races with us. Ashton Yates too. They haven't been in this year, but Ashton came last year. But anyways, last time Posh was down, he was telling Michael, he's like, who's that fast guy that on the whatever bike? And he's like, that's the old man over there changing your tire. And he's like, no. And Michael's like, yeah. He's like, oh crap. And like, so he has a little ranch down south. We've never made it out to, but Isaac's been invited to the Bosco Moto Ranch. Julian trains out there a lot. Avery goes out there sometimes, but John Dylan Kelly's always out there. But a lot of those guys, they train down there, and I mean, they're fast guys, bro. And they go over to Cuba and race and all over the place. But they come up and race all the South Florida races. And man, it's gritty. And so, like, he's talking about he wants to race this. It's some gritty racing, bro. They're no holds bar. Like, they're turning in on you, or they're stuffing the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, on the 450s, essentially the only way to really get through when you're that fast is you got to stuff the shit out of somebody. Like, you got to let them know I'm coming and go. If not, you're not getting through. So he's saying he wants to race that, and I'm like, bro, I don't know. And I'm like, how about, he called me out. He's like, how about if I'm faster than you on it, then I get to race it? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, he's 13 years old still. I know he's fast, but I'm like, bro, can he muscle this bike? I'm like, I don't even know if he can muscle it. I'm like, I know I can muscle it a little bit. Like, I'm not gonna be stupid fast, but I got a little speed to me, so I'm like, all right, bet. And the little bastard was faster than me the first time, bro.
And you're like, shit.
But still, I I didn't let him race it, but I let him practice on it and everything, and he was practicing on it. And what ended up getting him racing it was he practiced on it all day, and then the races had came up and he wasn't getting suited up, and we were pitted with Aaron Dreyer, and Aaron looked at Isaac and he's like, the hell are you doing? And he's like, my dad told me not to race it. He didn't want me racing. He's like, go get your gear on and get your ass out there. So I just took a back seat and was like, well, fuck it. Like, it ain't on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he does it, if he listens to him, Aaron told him to, so let's go. Fuck it. I'm not gonna step in. I'm just gonna see what happens. And he went out there. He went out there and freaking started from the back and ended up working his way up and mixing up with some people, and like didn't finish last. And like I was surprised, and I was like, man, he was 13 years old and he mixed it up with him. So from there on out, like, dang, I gotta let him keep on racing it. And now, like I said, he ran into some issues at the last race with the rear grip and stuff, and then ended up crashing during qualifying and whatnot, and started further back. And so he didn't get to run up front, but he was picking up pace. And all these kids with South Florida, man, they're pushing each other every time we go out. So it's awesome. Working at trying to get them all together this winter, and do like a stay together for a week and just have them freaking push each other, which we did that last year. Alessandro came down with Isaac, which that helped him with his development big time last year, in between last year and this year. But still getting way ahead of myself, like always. Got to go back to the mini GP, or right past the mini GP into the supermoto stuff. Then I was looking at opportunities. The North American Talent Cup had came up, and he was of age for that. 13 years old. You had to be at least 13 years old to race in it. The buy-in for a bike was like $17,000. It was, to be honest, looking back at it, especially, it was a pretty good deal. Like $17,000, they give you a bike, canopy, some spare. I think some might have been some spare rims, maybe not, but they gave you a lot for what you asked for, and then that included the season of 6 races and whatnot. And the bike, I don't know if it was the greatest bike or not, but it was definitely a good introduction and a good step in the right direction, I think. But I personally couldn't afford to just buy into it. So, but I looked into it and thought about it, and I couldn't justify spending that much money. And especially us being this new into the sport and whatnot. But at the time, they had wild cards. Branniker 2 had it set up to where you could come ride. You could rent his bike. It was like $1,250 for the weekend to ride their bike. And I think they gave you a set of tires. They even gave you a KYT helmet. That's where we started our relationship with KYT. That's where Isaac got his first ever white KYT helmet, and I fell in love with that because you can see it. It just stands out. And other race dads don't do it. Just leave us alone. Because there's so many more white helmets on the grid now. But like, at the time there wasn't that many, and oh my God, it stands out. It's still like it stand out. You put it with the bike and whatnot, it stands out great. But they gave you a KYT helmet and whatnot. Even just for the wild card, you got a KYT helmet. When you sign up for the season, I'm pretty sure, I think they gave you Bison leathers. Bison was on support for that at the time. They gave you Bison leathers. Like, it was a very good deal. It was way more affordable than the new Talent Cup that they've introduced. Just like the package was pretty phenomenal. I don't know that the bike was up to par to that bike. Like the Kramer's probably a better bike, especially the chassis. Actually, even the motor, I guess the motor was decent, but it was motor was a Chinese motor on the Aprilia. But the chassis was an Italian chassis. But it was still, they say it was still leaning towards more production based. But they still called it a GP chassis, but you had most people that rode the NSF would tell you that it wasn't a GP chassis by any means. But it was definitely a step in the right direction, and it was affordable. And then they had the wild card, so my thought process was like, hey, we'll try to do a wild card. And I hit up Branniker 2 and asked him if he would accept Isaac for a wild card. And as a wild card, and he got with me and told me absolutely to let him know what round I was interested in. And I looked at the schedule, and Roeblen was the closest race to us. They had it there on a Aware weekend, and which at the time we had never been there, but I was like, it's 4 hours away from me. Like, that's the closest. That was ridiculously close compared to every other track that was on the schedule. So I was like, that's the best opportunity. Let me do that. At the time, I had support from Proline Race Prep, which is Vinny out of Lake City, Florida. And so I got with him and asked him, since he was in Lake City, which is even closer than I am to Roeblen, I got him involved and asked him if he would come out and help out with set up the bike, and everything, and work with Isaac for the weekend. And he agreed, and so I hired him to do that. He came out with us and did our first ever. That was our first big bike national exposure, in which he qualified, I think, middle of the pack or something. So he had been to Roeblen one time before we went up and got practice on his Ninja 300. He had rode the Aprilia SP, which was a lower horsepower model, one time at Jennings, sharing it with some coaches and stuff. And then in between I think Avery rode it a little bit too that day. So he got a few sessions on Aprilia before going there. But other than that, he didn't have any experience on the bike. When he rode it, it was on Pirellis, so he had never even rode on Dunlop. So he went out there and he qualified like middle of the pack. So it wasn't too bad considering it was the middle of the season. These kids had way more experience on the bikes and whatnot. And so, but the first race, he got up with the front pack and ended up, they were way too aggressive for him. He hadn't experienced that. So he got his nose chopped and fell back. But he kind of got the confidence that, hey, I can run with these guys. So that was the first race. Sorry.
You're good, brother, man. I drink water too all the time. I'm with you. I'm with you. Listen, I've been a huge fan of Isaac's, as everybody already knows, and obviously SFL Mini GP. I tell everybody all the time, it's the ultimate series we have in America, hands down, 100%. There is no better platform than SFL Mini GP. Whether you're in Jersey or you're in South Florida, is absolutely the best program to be in.
And for all ages too. Like,
yes,
I've heard people say that, oh, I grew out of that, or like kind of feel like a lot of the older riders, like we do club racing and stuff, and hang out with a bunch of club racers and stuff locally, and it's almost like you feel like that they race big bikes. I don't know. Why would I even do that? Like, they're minis. Like, almost I'm above that. Bro, there's so much to learn on those bikes. It's insane. Like, I was like, I was a slow guy. Like, I told you, I did my one race that I ever did. I got my race license, did my one race, finished second to last. But at that time, so I said this before. At Jennings, they say that the expert time is 1:30s. I used to run 1:28, so like I kind of thought that I was fast. That's slow as shit. Like, I was on a 675. Like, these kids, Isaac and Avery ran 25 O's on freaking Ninja on R3s at completely stock R3s. Like, I'm on a 675 doing 28s, thinking I'm fast, and they're doing 25. This was before I got into the mini stuff. So I got into the mini stuff, and I completely got away from big bikes completely. Sold it, like I said, traded it for a mini, and started riding minis with Isaac. My older son fell out with it, but stayed with it. Isaac stayed with it. Then I stopped even riding, and Isaac started riding. Shout out to Rick Glover. He has a track day that he does at Jennings, which a bunch of the mini GP kids have essentially. I don't know, like I don't know. That doesn't, the way I want to portray it probably ain't right for kids, but they pop their cherry there at freaking Jennings with freaking Rick Glover, their first time on a big bike. You know what I'm saying? Like, his little event, he invite the kids out, and pretty sure, I think Julian's first time, Isaac's first time on a big bike track and on a big bike. But dang, kind of lost train of thought where I was going with that. I knew that was going to happen to me at some point.
Listen, it's all good, Curtis. We actually got a bunch of comments, so I want to get to these comments real quick. So we got Pat Sheridan, of course, the legend Pat himself. He says, "Dudes, Curtis, my man, absolutely. Curtis is an absolute legend."
Pat Sheridan, I love Pat. He's a legend.
Bro, I freaking love Pat too. And of course, I love my man Jeff Serving.
Jeff
Eats. Yes, I tell everybody, every
that.
podcast, bro, all the time. If you don't have Chef Eats, you're not even living. What are you waiting on?
Chef Eats the man. Chef Eats looked out for us so much. Like, we met him at Jennings. Steady talking about Jennings. Oh, yeah. So met him there for the first time. He let Isaac ride his 600. Freaking, I think that was probably Isaac's first time riding a 600, and freaking he was out there freaking killing it, and freaking Jeff was so stoked. Like Jeff's smile on his face watching Isaac ride his bike was, and like that's where our relationship started, was right there. And man, it's been great ever since. Like, he's been a huge supporter and fan of Isaac. And man, the food is awesome, and he looks out for us with the food. What, man, I mean, one round this year, man, he called me up and was like, "Bro, what, you didn't put an order in? I got to put an order in for you." And I'm like, I had so much going on that week, and I just couldn't get around to even getting a hold of him. And he reached out to me, and I'm like, "Bro, I'm so sorry. I meant to be the order." And he was like, "Bro, I got you." And just freaking shot me some food to the track that weekend. And bro, like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, it was, I had so much stress at that going on at that time, and that was just felt like a big relief off my shoulders. That, damn, like, that's one thing that just out of nowhere, this man just thought of me and called me up and took care of this when I didn't. You know what I'm saying, I forgot about him and supporting his business, and he just freaking, bam, I got you, bro, and just sent us a package. Bro, I was so, like, there was a lot going on with trying to get everything over to Ohio and whatnot, and he called right before then and sent the food over. And I'm not even gonna lie, bro, my eyes were watering. I'm like, bro, like, I wish that I could, like, the way, remember, like, I told you about how you express yourself and how you express your gratitude. Like, I wish I could express my gratitude to him and a bunch of these other people that helped me out through the years, like you do, bro, because, like, I'm so grateful, bro, for all the help that these people have helped me with over the years. And there's so many of them. So many of them. It started with Vinny, like, just seeing Isaac at a track day and telling, actually, no, that's where we were going. I got talking about Vinny. The way I got involved with him was Rick's day. Rick had the day up there for track days and invited us. And I'm like, I want to ride with Isaac. Like, I haven't rode. So I haven't rode in, you know what I'm saying, nothing but minis in like a few years. So I'm like, I want to ride with Isaac the first time on the track. He's got Vinny rented bikes up there. So I'm like, I hit him up and was like, bro, let me rent a bike from him for the weekend and ride with my son, or for one day and ride with my son. And he's like, yeah, I got somebody else there renting the bike. Set it up, went out and rode with him. And that's where I was getting at. South Florida Mini GP, just me being around South Florida Mini GP and riding with them, bro. My fastest lap time was a 28 before I had got involved with the Mini GP there at Jennings, which on a 675, I jumped on his 750, which is probably set up a lot better and everything else and fast, yeah. But I jumped on his 750 and did a 22, bro. Like, I shaved 6 seconds off. I hadn't rode in a few years, like, big bike. It was all just just being around the Mini GP, and not even just riding with it, just absorbing the stuff that they were teaching Isaac and listening to that. You know what I'm saying? And then also trying, for me, like, I've always been a coach, so like, I'm always wanting to learn too. So I do research and stuff like that. Of how can I help him improve? You know what I mean? And through all that, made me way freaking faster. And like, I wasn't out there trying to put down no burner. Isaac actually towed me around the tight section, and then I passed him going into the fast section. And that next lap is when I threw a freaking burner down, because he ended up freaking essentially gave me the pace through the back section. But yeah, so South Florida, like, that's where I went on the ran off the rabbit trail. Was I was talking about South Florida being good for everybody, because like, I gained so much from it. I just shaved 6 seconds, and I don't even race. I don't, you know what I'm saying? If I actually went and raced all the time and went to the programs and stuff and to the schools, you know, I definitely would be way faster. But like, I'm not trying to invest my time and money into that. Like, I see that there's potential in Isaac, so that's where I'm trying to focus the time and energy right now.
Oh, 100%. When you have kids, they're your everything. When they do something that makes them happy, you want to give them their all, right?
Oh, for sure.
100%, man. And then we got Philip Chapman in the house, dude. What is up, bro? Another legend. Look, I love the dog, bro. I got my baby's right here with me. That's when my wife opened the door. She's like, "Your dog wants to come in here."
Yeah, she just came in here, knocked something down.
I
The
love
door's
it's okay.
open.
Yeah, I love dogs, man.
She's got the backyard to roam right now. She came in to say hi. Well, Phil Chapman for sure. Phil's awesome.
Phil's
Matthew killed it this year.
Murdered
Absolutely killed it. Phil's great people, man. I have great talking to him at the track every time I see him. Always good conversation. Always super helpful, and always looking to anything that if you need something, he's willing to help. Even he did a wild card. He did 2 wild cards last year, and it pitted right next to us at Jersey last year. And we had a rough time in the rain there. That track was slick, and Isaac's usually fast in the rain, and that track the surface was like no other that he's seen, and he's a go mentality, and you just couldn't go on that surface. So, but long story short, he wrecked 4 times, and I ran out of parts, and ended up he broke something I didn't have, and Phil was next to me, and just doing a wild card, and I was like, "Hey, do you have this?" And he's like, "Yes, sir, absolutely." So I go grab it out my box, and just send me another one. Yes, sir, I got you.
That's what I love about our community and our sport too, right? Everybody helps everybody out. It's truly amazing, man. It really is.
Met them the first time at Jennings too. Everybody comes down to Jennings in the wintertime and rides.
Yes, they do.
We'll be doing more training in Jennings this winter.
Oh yeah, well, I was supposed to come down and ride with you guys at October.
Heron?
Yeah, at the Heron compound. But
freaking hurricane can.
Yeah. No worries, because I will plan a trip. I'm gonna come down there. I'm gonna stay with you guys. I'm gonna ride the whole weekend. I'm gonna get my butt kicked by everybody. But dude, listen, I just want to show up and hang out with all my friends. And
bro, it's a blast. Bro, it's so fun.
I know it is. I can't freaking wait. And then of course we got the legend himself, SFL Mini GP in the house. He says, "Evening, I'm just here for the spoon." You know what? I can't wait to get into that. We will get into that, everybody. But just give me a few seconds, right? And we'll get into that.
Michael presented me with that spoon that's in that picture.
I seen it, dude.
Look what I did. Just so you know, when I turn my camera off, what do you got? You got the spoon, baby.
I love it. And then Jeff Sermon said Isaac trying to hot rod for Dex. Say it ain't so. When you was talking about flipping that bike, and of course we got Kid Chaos in the house. Where you been, Kid Chaos? Where have you been? Isaac was almost on the path to the MLB, right? But nope, we're on twos right now.
Bro, Isaac was a good baseball player, bro. And like I said, his brother at 15 was throwing 86 from the mound and 91 from the outfield. Isaac arm, I always said was stronger than his brother's, which granted I don't think he would have been a pitcher because he's freaking wild with the ball, but like he can in the infield, he was a good infield outfield. Like he had a strong arm and he could hit, always was a good hitter. Like if he would have stuck with baseball, which hell, he might end up going back to baseball because racing's expensive.
It's a backup plan. Okay. It's awesome.
But yeah, for sure. Like baseball is our roots. For sure. That's what I did when I was a kid. I'm not a motorcycle guy by any means. Like they're winging it.
I played soccer. That was my sport growing up, was soccer. I wasn't really into baseball or football. I was like, dude, I want to play soccer, right? That was and ride motorcycles, of course, but that was my sport for sure.
I wanted to ride motorcycles.
Me too. My mom was like, hell no. My dad was like, yes, let's go. And then, my dad.
Seth Starnes on the screen too. Seth Starnes, huge supporter, helped us out this season too with suspension and stuff, man.
Yes, he is.
I would be disappearing into the trailer on the phone with Seth Starnes, and they're talking to Isaac on speakerphone. I would be taking pictures of his track map and sending it to Seth so Seth could go over suspension with us. And great awesome help. He loves the kids, loves helping and supporting the kids.
For sure,
Definitely.
dude. Seth is absolutely amazing, and everybody, man, you guys hear me say it all the time, man. Next Level Financial. Listen, you guys need to get on it, and trust me, just reach out to Seth. It's absolutely, and he has suspension. He does suspension.
Oh,
too,
he's
so-
a suspension guru too. Like
Yes, he
he
is.
helped with our Moto America suspension this season. He helped with his Isaac Super Motard. He's built that suspension, and you see Isaac's fast as hell on that thing. So he's
Yes.
Seth is good with the suspension. If you need suspension, definitely, and you're in Florida.
Come up.
But he travels too, and he takes that trailer with him. Boy, that thing's big, and he got everything with him, bro. Everything.
Everything.
So if you see him at the track and you need something, like I see him at the track, and he probably hates me for this, but I see him at the track, and my mindset is like, "Ooh, he's here. I need to rebuild my shock."
Seth,
You know what I'm
baby,
saying? He's in South
please,
Florida.
yeah.
He's in South Florida. I'm in Central Florida. Like Florida's kind of long. Like just because we're in Florida, like it's almost like different states. You got South Florida, Central Florida, North Florida, and the Panhandle. Like
That's right.
it's pretty big. So you know what I'm saying? Which I need to get. I got suspension. I need to get to him. I talked to him about it. I waited. I wait. I procrastinate, bro. I got so much stuff going on. But anyways, I procrastinate and I got a hold of him late, asked him about some suspension. He seeing if he was coming to South Florida this last 2 weekends ago, and he wasn't. But he's like, send it with Korea. But by the time I had saw the message, I had already left the house and didn't have it with me. So it was like, damn it, I didn't get it to him.
That's all right. You will. Absolutely, you will.
Oh, for sure.
And then we got Rick Glover, man. Everybody knows Rick. He's Son of Coop's freaking legend. He says Stump would never tell your kid, has it? If
I
they
know.
did, Stumpy has no nonsense, right? And then,
But I don't, man, I love Stump. But I don't want to fucking sound big headed at the same time, like fucking, you know what I mean? So that's why I threw that in there.
Nah, dude, listen, it's part of the journey, right? And we're such a family in this small, beautiful circus we're in. Yeah.
But Michael said he prefers the deflate, which that seems like, you can go. I didn't mean to just. You can read Michael's comment if you want.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got it.
Well, he says Scomp Stump doesn't lie or inflate egos. He prefers to deflate them.
Oh, that's right, man. He freaking, like I said, he used to put me in my place until he had no problem telling me I was slow. And tell me to give it up. He'd give it up. Like, you're way fast. Like, bro, you slow as shit. Why you still out here riding?
Right? Let the kids get on there, old man. Get off the track, right? Yeah. Dude,
But so he would get out there and ride with him though. He would ride with him, but he was fast enough to ride with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't had no business being out there with him. He was right. You know what I'm saying? But granted, Michael's in here listening too. I'll call him out. Like Mini GP, I've called him out at the herring compound. Michael always does the parent child. It used to be started off as parent child endurance race. I think I might have had a little influence in that, but in the start of it, but the parent child race. And so I called them all out and was like, hey, let's see who the fastest, you know what I'm saying, parent child combo is. You know what I'm saying? Like the kids are always battling it out, but what about when Pops jumps in? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I tagged freaking Michael in the post. I tagged a bunch of dads. I tagged Aaron in the post. I think I tagged Chris Olivier. I'm probably murdering his name. Super Lex's dad. I tagged him in the post. A bunch of the dads that used to come out to the mini GP. I just call everybody out. Let's go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Child parent endurance race. I think it was the first year they did it. I called them all out. But I don't know if it was that year, but one of the years Michael waved the white flag on me and told me that I got him. So I got that.
Let's go,
I gotta throw him
baby.
under the bus for that. I might not be fast in Stump's mind, but
But I got you, right? Yeah, that's all that matters. Let's go. I love it, dude. And Michael Carrera actually said, all the pros are scared. Many GP kids are the real deal. And you're absolutely right. Everybody that's ever listened to any of my podcasts, I tell everybody SFL Mini GP is where it's at.
Bro, I'm telling you, these kids are
the
going to get
future of our sport.
If they show
Hey.
up, we're going to give them the business, bro. These kids are going to give them the business. It's going to be
Straight up.
and like they've been seeing it. They've been getting fast.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
been seeing it for a while.
I mean, all you got to do is show up to Moto America. I mean, dude, that's where
I'll
all our future talents coming from is SFL Mini.
I'll
Straight up.
I'll give a little spoon, Michael Spoon. Here you go, fucking talking since he wants to call them out. Like they've been on notice. Like, bro, one event there was a pro out there, and Isaac was in qualifying, following them, and he saw Isaac back and ended up checking up, and Isaac ran his best time that he had ever ran behind him. You know what I'm saying? He checked up and freaking Isaac qualified like freaking third or something that time with a couple pros in front of him. But dude, you're checking up for a 14-year-old, like, bro, come on, like. So that they've been on notice already. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want the kids even following them or working with them and stuff like that. Like this last winter, or when was it? Anderson. It might have been at the beginning of the year. There was a couple people out there. Oh, was it last year? No, it was the beginning of this year because Isaac was riding his 400 at Anderson. And Isaac was on his 400, which the 400 is not as fast as the Super Motard. The Motard, that 450 motor is faster than the 400 by far.
Yeah.
By a decent amount. There was a Moto America rider out there. I'm not going to put no names out there, but there was definitely one out there on a Motard that was behind Isaac, and he was on his 400, like, you know what I'm saying, on his 400, which if he was on a Super Motard, he would have been even further out. You know what I'm saying? So they're getting, and like these kids are getting faster and faster, bro. Like they're the real deal.
Absolutely.
Like I ain't trying to boost up my son. You know what I'm saying? I try to make sure kids keep him humble and try to keep humility, and I try to stay humble myself. But
it's important, but I'll do it for you, Curtis. Isaac's a fucking legend, bro. Super freaking fast, and
but look at the kids that we're growing up around, like freaking
know.
Julian and Avery, that we've been pushing each other for years. There's been some other kids that come and go that have been fast too, and there's been adults that help out here and there throughout their riding and stuff. But that's the foundation, bro. And then the younger kids, bro, like Gabe and Coop and all these kids and Cole, Gabe Ditus, Cole Peterman. Like, bro, these kids are freaking, they're legit. Like I'm their fan, bro. I root them on, these little guys too. Like when we go to the mini GP stuff, Carter Dreyer, which is Avery and Ella's little brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many of these little kids that are freaking so awesome, that are going to be so fast, and they're just going to, you know what I'm saying? And I root them on. And which, like at one event, I ended up, I think some people thought that I came off as a jackass. I told the one dad, I'm like, hey, his son was riding an F1 bike, and he ran the fastest lap of the event, and we were there riding on a slow bike, and so which I wasn't comparing the kids or anything, but I was like, hey, just so you know, Isaac did blah 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 on an F1 bike, which was a few seconds faster than what they did, and like some people gave me a dirty look, and somebody said something to me like, bro. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm telling the dad that to try to push the kid, because I think that the kid can be faster than my son. Like, which I reached out to the dad and told him this, you know what I'm saying? After I got told, somebody was like, bro, that was kind of dickheadish that you just said that. And I'm like, whoa, you're taking that completely wrong. Like, I'm not trying to freaking glorify my son. I'm trying to give you a goal, like, to say, hey, I can push harder. Brandon Posh ran a 103.2 on a stock Z at Bushnell back in the day when the Z125 had first came out. And that set the bar for freaking Isaac and anybody else that jumped on a Z ever since. You know what I'm saying? Like they were shooting for that. Isaac's the only one that's got close. He got a 13 or 103.5 on a Z. So a few tenths off, but and now his freaking bike's so clapped out that it ain't gonna see no 103s. But man, that thing's so clapped out, he still does 104s consistently, and he can run probably a low 104 on it. And I don't know how. Like Pat Sheridan was in the comments, he's talking about, bruh, that thing probably shouldn't be on the track.
Right, it needs to be retired, bro, for real. Oh my god, I love it, dude. So Michael Carrera actually says Curtis Woodworth has speed, bro. I have not beat him yet. He's like, yep, absolutely. I love it, dude. I love it. It's good stuff.
But I learned freaking from his camp too. Like I came into it, you know what I'm saying, just a freaking a track day guy. You know what I'm saying, and which I'm like I said, I'm not fast by any means, but I learned so much just absorbing everything from being in the mini GP camp. You know, because the mini GP camp is outside. Like we're outside of just the mini. Like when we're at track days and stuff like that, we pit together and hang out together and work together. When we're at races and stuff, a lot of times, like once you get to the national stage, it changes. And people are spending boatloads of money, so obviously there's going to be people that don't want to share stuff whenever they're spending that much money and that much effort and putting that into it. They want every advantage they can have. So you're going to have that. But for the most part, the mini GP family is all love and help and support, which don't get that completely twisted when I say that there's people that won't help, and because there's a shit ton of people that still will. Like the racing community is like no other. National level is definitely a little bit different, especially when you have like any type of like rivalry and stuff.
But you'll have that, Curtis, in any sport, right? People that don't want to share certain info because they think they're one step ahead. But I see it as they're just hurting themselves, right? Because if you have a certain A rider that thinks he knows it all and blah blah blah, and then you got the B guy that comes up and just kicks his butt, I feel like the A rider could definitely benefit off of even knowledge off the guy that has less experience, right? It's yeah, it's
well, iron sharpens iron. So like you
100%.
gotta you teach them and let them learn, and then you know what I'm saying, they get faster than you, and you can learn something off of them. Like I feel like we could be a lot more successful if more parents had the bigger picture in mind. Like I say that I think that we need a rider on the national stage. Like I'll share anything with anybody. Like I'm sure there might become a point where I don't or can't or whatever. But like it's much.
No, you can't have my chef eats.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. Like it's
I know. I'm just
like there's a
playing.
time we're riding on a team. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't be giving out their team secrets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
When it's another team, it's not mine to give out. But any knowledge that I have, like I'm open 110% to share. But like a saying that I posted online one time when talking shit kind of during the pot, I threw out there. I was like, I feel like there's too many dads want their kid to be the best, or want their kid to be the best rather than their best. And what I mean by that, I think it's self-explanatory, but they want their kid to be the best. Like they want their kid on the podium right now. They want gratification right now. They want their kid best. They don't want any spotlight of any other kid being better than them, and that's their main focus. And that's where you run into people that don't want to maybe don't want to share stuff or don't want to, you know what I'm saying, don't
Dude.
train together or whatever. But in my mind, everybody should want to push the kid, especially the kids, to be their best, because that's going to push the next kid to be the next kid going to be their best, and then they're just going to keep on. It's a ladder effect. Like, none of these kids are okay with getting beat. So if you get faster than if your kid gets faster than my son, guess what? That's a benefit to me, because now my son has somebody to, you know what I'm saying, to chase. Like,
Yep.
we need to push each other. We need to push and push and push. Like, the kids need to train together as much as possible. Like, I know it's hard. Like, it's super hard because everybody has their different paths and everything else and different routes and everything. But I feel like what this country needs is an academy like they have baseball, but like we just got to figure out how to freaking fund it.
No,
The sport,
I agree.
the sport is obviously for the rich, but with that said, like, it's possible to do to some extent, but you got to put the work in and you got to show that that you deserve it too. But that's going to cost a lot. It takes a lot of sacrifice, man. I wish it was easier for everybody, but
Yeah, we all do, right? But it's just not, you know.
but there's so many.
Hey, say hi to Curtis. You know who Curtis is. What's up?
What's
That's
up,
it. What's
Rosy?
up, bro? Say chilling,
Chilling.
playing Fortnite with my fool friends.
I have my Destiny remote.
You got
Last time I seen you were causing havoc in the New Jersey paddock on a little 50.
bro. He was doing that. Absolutely. Yes, he is.
He had a blast.
Oh, I
Yes,
spice.
he did. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he can't wait to get his dirt bike too. So, yeah, we'll see. So next time you guys see him in the pits, he'll be on his own pit bike, right? So it'll be good for sure. And then he ain't gonna borrow Yondel's little 50 all the time.
It's 50, bro.
Right?
It's 50, bro.
I know it did. I know it did, bro. I absolutely know. And then, dude, Jeff Servin, dude, nothing. He says, love all of y'all for real. Listen, Jeff, I love you too. And I remember the first time I tried,
Mad love for Jeff.
dude, nothing but love. I tried the very first time, bro. I tried Chef Eats with you at Jersey, not this year, but last year when we
Last year I think I gave you some of that steak that
it was pork, man. I remember I was starving, dude, and you looked at me. He's like, "Bro, you hungry?" I was like, "I'm fucking starving." He's like, "Dude, there's pork chops over there." I was like, "Yes, thank you."
okay,
So much.
pork
Yeah.
chops.
And potatoes. They were roasted garlic potatoes, I think, and pork chops. Yes, absolutely good. So it was, yeah. I tell everybody about Chef Eats. So why you guys sleeping? Get your Chef Eats ordered.
Yeah, for real. Love some Chef Eats.
Kristen said, "So proud of you and Isaac, bub. Thank you, Jeff, for feeding them." Yeah, absolutely, right.
That's my sister. Yeah,
Thank you, sister. That's awesome. And then Riley Hay says, "Proud of y'all."
That's my niece. That's Kristen's daughter.
Love it. Thank you, girls, for listening and tuning in. It's an absolute honor to have you here. And then Elisa Cunningham says, "Godiva."
Godiva.
Godiva. Sorry, I'm not the best pronouncer on speller sometimes.
Yeah, you're good.
And then we have RTR in the house.
Elisa's local club racer. Ryan Snooks. Ryan's awesome, bro. Ryan was super supportive this year. Ryan's one of those that'll help you with anything that you know what I'm saying. Like, yeah, and Cunnison. Scott.
Yes.
Love Logan. Shout out Logan too. Fast. He came up and grew up with us down here. He didn't grow up down here, but he came and rode with us all the time. Snooks, the man, freaking awesome mechanic, and Isaac rode for Logan at an endurance race this year and put it on the box, top of the box with Ryan. But yeah, he's one that will share anything. Him and Scott, like, they're not holding back for sure. Give you any that they want. Like, Scott sees the bigger picture, and let's make these kids fast because it's going to make my kid faster. Let's push each other. Let's iron sharpens iron.
110%. 110%. Curtis, so dude, listen, I've heard a lot about this spoon, bro. Tell us about the spoon.
The spoon. So the spoon. Michael presented me with a spoon. I want to say last year. Last year at a barbecue, he presented me with a spoon, and I should have brought it. I have it in the house. Actually, it's in the house on my desk, but I think Matt Dexter made it. The cameraman Matt Dexter made it. So the story behind the spoon is I'm good at stirring the pot, and especially online. Michael's joked with me. Michael's called me and had a conversation. We talking about that him and Ursel, which is another guy, behind the scenes guy, which Abbott Productions. He helped out with us a little bit this year and last year with posters and stuff. But anyways, he's like, Michael's like, me and Ursel were talking, and we're talking about having a sponsored post that you do and have people pay for spots on advertising, because he's like, if you have a post, guaranteed there's going to be several hundred comments on it within a couple hours, just because like the way that you word everything, you just got away with freaking picking at nerves and setting everybody off. Oh my god, my daughter is listening and just brought out the spoon.
I love it.
And then we put a Mini GP logo on the back. But so there's been quite a few incidents where I stirred the pot, which I think it all started. I think the very first time that I ever started anything, that's where I said that I didn't have the greatest relationship at first with the Ovali, because I talked crap about the Ovali because Ovali sponsored a class and they didn't have enough Ovalis for it, so they threw it into the 110 class. And at that time, I just got there's a 110 and a 110L. The 110L is the better of the two. It has a clutch and it's faster than the standard non-shift 110. I just got that bike, so we were able to be competitive in the class. And now they introduced the Ovali in that class. They had a 110 Ovali, but it was way faster, but it stayed in that same class. And then I complained about it, and he's like, well, when I get 5 of them, they'll make their own class, but until then, it's a combined class. And I'm like, well, we're getting the short end of the stick. So I decided to make a post talking shit, and it went freaking haywire.
I love it, dude. I love
Everybody, essentially, everybody bombarded me, and just defended Michael and attacked the shit out of me. But there was I got a couple people that stood up for me, but for the most part, everybody is Team Michael, which of course they got to be. Like, I love Michael to death too, and I give him a hard time, and I've been a pain in his ass sometimes, but he loves me.
Absolutely.
He knows I'm super passionate, bro. Like, I'm super passionate about the sport. I'm super passionate about the stuff that I commit my life to. You know what I'm saying? So the passion sometimes comes with emotion, and sometimes I should shut the fuck up.
Me too, brother, man. Curtis, trust me. My wife tells the same thing. She's like, you need to learn to shut the fuck up sometimes. I'm like, I can't help it. So my son's just like me. I'm like, bro, do you ever shut up? Like, nope, absolutely not. So apple don't fall far from the tree, I'll tell you that.
But yeah, so I've been known to stir the pot here and there and get people riled up about stuff online, to where it's to the point now to where I try not to even post or comment. Like, if I comment, I keep it like advice only. Like, Mini GP, I'll see people ask questions, I'll give advice. Like, any talking shit, like I people take it too personal, bro. So I can't even do it. So and then I can really get people riled up. So, and I don't take especially that if I'm sitting there BSing on the internet, to me, that's all it is. It's BS on the internet. But
it don't mean nothing. Yeah.
So I'll say stupid shit that I shouldn't say. And that's why I try not to do it, because now it's a reflection to Isaac, which sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like if I look like a jackass online, like it looks bad to Isaac.
Yeah.
With in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Like people look at like it's a package deal. Like if Isaac signed up with a team, they get me too. So you know what I'm saying? I gotta like that's so like now I don't even try to I cut myself off from the spoon. But the day they gave me this, me and Michael had it out at the track. The day that picture was taken. Oh yeah, I was like, okay, well I'm not supposed to say it online, so I'm coming to say it to you.
Right.
And that wasn't the right thing to do because it's an event weekend and he's got freaking 10,000 things going on. The last thing he needs is a freaking parent freaking bitching at him about an incident that he missed on the track. But he took care of it. He gave me hell for it though. I don't know that all the hell that he gave me was warranted because he gave me a lot of hell. He blasted me over the intercom and everything, bro. Oh, it was
Attention, Paddock.
Oh, he did. No shit, bro. He did. He on God, he put me on blast. But it was like, bro, like my argument was warranted. Like but like maybe I handled it wrong. But granted, like my first question to him, but it's our relationship that we've been around each other so long and everything, and he knows I'm a shit stirrer. So like I came and said something to him and he completely shot me down and was like, if you don't got a video of it, then ain't nothing I can do about it. And I was like, bruh, really? Like I walked off but then I came back. After the race, I came back. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let the race finish. Because right when it happened, there was an incident, and I went and said something. And he's like, there ain't video of it. And I waited till the race was over, and nothing happened. It was somebody passing under a yellow. Obvious as day, Isaac rolled off, and because there was a yellow and there was a crash in the corner, and they went underneath him and they didn't get a position back. And I'm like, bro, they're supposed to get a position back. And so like we had it out. So that was another spoon incident but like Grant, like I shouldn't have said anything at that time. And his response wasn't the ideal response neither. Like he definitely got me riled up, just shooting me down instead of being like, hey, which we talked about it. It's like, yeah, I was like, bro, you should have just been like, wait till after the race, let's talk about it. And then we could have talked about it instead of just shooting me down. And he's like, yeah, I should have, but so we all learn.
We do.
And well, Christoph, did Christoph comment earlier? You were running through so many names. I think you said Christoph in there.
I
Christoph.
did.
Christoph been helping me get over some of this stuff and get past all this shit talking and let it go and help me work on myself and try to become a better person. I got much love for Christoph too. Matt Dexter's another one that helps me out through the years, talking to him and stuff, that like talking about getting into the sport. Like I've told Matt this, and he's the only one few people I told this. I question myself a lot if I'm doing the right thing, like if I should even be pursuing this. Like this sport's so expensive, bro, and like there's no return. Like you're trying to get sponsorship and you talk, like you hear people talk about ROI, return on investment. Like there's no return on investment. Like the only return on investment is a tax write-off. Like you can write it off as taxes, like, and then you can get the enjoyment of being a part of something and helping a kid out. But other than that, like there's not that much, you know what I'm saying, to act that we can give you. Like I can give you social media, you know what I'm saying, but that's what's that? I give you a little bit of TV time. The TV time, Moto America, how great is that? Most of it's paid subscription. Like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a mainstream sport yet. So it's like I've asked, am I setting my son up for failure? Because there's going to be a point that I can't afford it. Which actually, to be honest with you, I never could afford it, bro. Like we did the wild cards. I afforded that, and then after that, the next year we were looking to try to do the North American Talent Cup, and then the Junior Cup came out with their schedule, and it was all East Coast with a little bit of Midwest. So we're like, hey, let's try to do this. Andreas came on board and started helping me out, and he ended up finding a sponsor that wanted to put Isaac on a bike and build the bike, which right here, Sean Powell, ended up saying, Andreas asked him about, he's like, hey, Andreas called him about some work and was talking to him on the phone, and he was talking about he had some 400s, and he ended up asking him, hey, any interest in sponsoring a kid in Moto America and building a bike for him. And he worked for Eric Gore, which Eric Gore is like a legend in two-stroke dirt bikes. Like he's an absolute legend. Like Crusty Demons of Dirt, all that stuff. Like he built all those bikes, all these like McGrath, like all these people two-stroke back in the day. Like he worked for freaking Yamaha at the factory. Like the stories, like we had the pleasure of getting hosted by Eric Gore last year up in Wisconsin, and the stories that man has, he's an absolute legend. But Sean was incorporated with him and Brian Sheridan, another guy that's an absolute genius with building motors and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'll take a go at it. And we teamed up with him, and he built us a bike. And granted, we showed up to the first round. We talked to Teague and asked Teague what we could do to the bike, and he told us absolutely nothing. You can't even open the motor. So we didn't do anything. We agreed the cams, and like they said we could do. And I think we did an undercut transmission, and that's all I said we could do. That's all we did. We showed up and had an absolute turd. Like everybody freaking walked away from Isaac. Like it was so ridiculous. We ended up taking the bike to the dyno and put it on the dyno, and it had 41 point something horsepower. I had the baffle pulled out because we were trying to find more power, doing different stuff with the baffle back in, and it had, I think it was like 41.5, and it jumped up to like 43, like a low 43. Like all these bikes we're competing against are probably, they say, I don't know, the most horsepower we still ever got to this day was 46 point something. But we end up sending the bike up to Wisconsin. Sean ended up building another bike, and we tried that out, his other motor, and we got more horsepower out of it. So we took the other motor apart this time and went through it to see why the hell it didn't have any power, and ended up having a big core shift from the factory. We didn't know that because we were told we couldn't go into it and do anything. It was a brand new bike, brand new motor, or a brand new salvage bike with a 2023, and we didn't open it up. Completely stopped. But yeah, he helped us found us 46 horsepower, which I heard that some people had 50. Who knows? That's the most we could get out of a bike legally without cheating. And that's what we wanted to do. Like some people had the finances to pay these geniuses X amount of money for motors. We couldn't do that, but I had some pretty smart people help me out and get me some power, and that was Sean Powell and them. But that was our first. That's how I was able to do it the first year. Last year, Mike Lennon stepped up. Essentially, we wadded our bike. I had one of these two bikes at Daytona at CCS. Didn't even have a bike, and I didn't know what we were doing going the season. And Mike was like, "Hey, here." Sean had the other bike for sale, and he knew that I was looking to sell a few things to get it. And Mike was like, "Hey, let me help you out with that. Let's pick up that bike from Sean." So he helped get the ball rolling on that. Then we had German with BPM step up and brought in Brent also, and so. Granted, like without all the support, I wouldn't be able to do it. But still, like that's why I've always asked myself, like, am I setting them up for failure? But like year and year and year after, like something happens, like miraculously that makes it work. Like, bro, I own my own business. It's a small business. I don't make a lot of money, but I work for myself. I'm also a single father, so I don't have much help. So like I do everything. Like I run the business completely. Like I don't have anybody helping me with any aspect of it or the kids. And I got other activities and stuff. So like there's a lot on my plate and not a lot of finances, but man, like the blessings over the years, like all the people, like if they didn't step up, it wouldn't be possible at all. And it's like I was told getting into this, like if you can't afford this and you can't afford that, don't do it. And getting back to the business, that's why I said I have a business. So the first year that I was going to commit to a season was before our first year of Junior Cup. That Junior Cup was our first real season of racing. Sean stepped up and said he was going to help us. At the end of the year, I lost the biggest contract that I had, which essentially it was around a $30,000 contract, and I had support from Sean, but I still had a lot of money that I needed to pay for tires and fuel, and like he was helping with a bike and he helps with a little bit of transport, but I still had to do some transport. Like I was budgeting around $30,000 that it was going to cost me to do, and then I lost that account. There was $30,000, and I'm like, what the hell do I do? Like I got these people that have already been committed and have been putting their finances into this and are ready to do this, and I just lost this big account. What do I do? And you know what I said? I told Isaac, I'm like, I got to cancel this. I'm like, we can't do it. Like I sat down and had a talk with him and told him, I don't see how this will work. I got to let him know. And I waited a few days. I didn't call him and tell him that. I waited a few days, and then I ended up saying, you know what? I ain't ever like if I don't try it, then who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like I got these people so far committed into everything. Like I gotta give it a try. Like I have to just attempt this. Like if I fail, I fail, but I'm not gonna give up. I'm not throwing in the towel. Like whatever the hell it takes, like we're gonna make this happen. And bro, off of pennies, like it's rubbing pennies together, bro. Like I'm flying into the track, having Sean bring the trailer and stuff. I'm renting U-Hauls because it's the cheapest, and not only is it the cheapest, it's our hotel for the weekend, bro. Like we're sleeping in the U-Haul. Like, and why are we doing that? Because that's the cheapest way to absolutely do it. So we're gonna make this happen. This year ended up a little bit better. Brent stepped up with Clemente Auto and provided us a trailer with AC and fully decked out with pit bull stands and everything. Oh my God, I can't thank him enough. Like he was an absolute blessing this year on, and so we did a little better this year as far as our sleeping commodities, but we still did it on an absolute budget. You know what I'm saying? We're doing it as cheap as we can. And like I had so many people tell me like, if you can't afford this, don't do this. And which the main thing they're trying to tell me was don't go in debt. Like don't go mortgaging your house. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Like, but like everybody's philosophy has always been like, bro, if you don't have it in order and you don't have it lined up perfectly, you can't do it. Like, don't go do it. Like, you gotta have this shit budgeted out to a T. If you don't do it. I'm sorry to break it to you, but if that was the case, we wouldn't be here. And we made it 2 years. But the only reason we made it is for people like Sean and Mike Lennon and Louie. Oh my God.
I love all those guys. Hey, real quick, Curtis, can you give me 1 second, bro? I gotta take a little intermission. I've got to go to the bathroom so bad. I'm getting ready to wet
Oh
myself.
yeah, I'm
right
sorry.
now.
Holy crap, we've been going too long.
Dude, we're almost an hour and 50 minutes in this. No, dude, it's
Dude.
good, dude. We're good, bro. But just give me 1 second, okay? 1 second.
Sorry for going so long, people. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna try to look at the chat if I can see it. Play the Jeopardy music for a pee break. What up, Rick? I'm looking at the comments. I probably look like a weirdo right now. I probably should have turned my camera off.
Sorry about that, bro. Man, I had to use the freaking restroom.
My bad. I was looking at the comments and accidentally exited out.
Dude, no worries. You're here. We're in here. We're in here. Look, dude, we got Birch, dude. K Tech. I tell everybody about K Tech, baby.
Birch is awesome. K-Tech helped us out throughout the season last year and this year also. Me and Birch learned a lot together. My first year in MotoGP, they essentially K-Tech gave Birch to us essentially the first year, and me and Birch worked together and bumped heads with other people. Like it was pretty interesting at Brainerd. I feel like we had a little breakthrough. Like me and him were working together, and somebody was telling us to go one direction, and me and him we decided to go a different direction, and it worked. It worked, and that was good. That was fun. And suspension has been, oh my god, like I've always been terrified of learning suspension, and then once I got into Moto America, it's like I had to, and it's like my son's been suffering because of my lack of knowledge, bro. Like at the end of the day, I was looking at the comments. I saw I'm pretty sure Jeff's wife Stephanie asked about first time or how did I feel at Moto America. She says they were crying.
Yeah, she said, hang on, let me just post a comment real quick. She says, how did it feel when Isaac got his first Junior Cup podium this past season? We cried like some big babies watching it live on the MA. Listen, real quick before you say that, me too. I'm a huge fan of Curtis and Isaac, all my friends that race in Moto America. I'm so emotionally invested in all my friends that race. When they get a podium, even when they just show up and turn laps, I'm so proud of what they achieve, especially when they podium, because I know the dedication and all the time and effort everybody puts into it, right? It's, dude, yeah, I'm getting a little teared right now just talking about it. It was, me too.
It was super. It was
me too, bro.
Emotional.
I was like, let's go. Yes.
Bro, coming off of I wish it didn't happen like it did. It happened under a red flag like that. Nobody wants to freaking get a podium on a red flag. Like we want to keep on racing and we want to win. Like we were leading the race at that point. You know what I'm saying? And one lap, 2 laps before that, we led. The lap prior to that, we were in second, and then the red flag lap, we were in third. Like we were in the mix. You know what I mean? So we didn't want like that kind of sucked. But at the same time, it felt like a big relief, like finally a podium, because man, Barber, he goes out and gets with the front pack, and in qualifying, a lot of people don't know this, in qualifying, his exhaust bracket broke and his exhaust was dragging, and they almost black flagged him. So we ended up safety wiring it up, and they let him continue. When we got back in, we made a new bracket. Well, the bracket we made was too low and way too supportive, because he made it to the front of the pack. He made it a second behind Avery, and Avery started picking up pace. The exhaust started dragging on the ground and lifting the tire off the ground. So he went from second and ended up falling. He tried to fight through it. He fell back all the way to 11th because it was picking up the rear tire. Can't go with the rear tire coming off the ground. We fixed that. The next race, he went to the front and pulled a freaking gap. know what I'm saying? Like that was his time to show out, bro, and we fucked it up. But he went into Charlotte's Web. Like he had a second something gap. He went into Charlotte's Web a little hot and grabbed too much break because he didn't know if somebody was right on him and he didn't want to give up anything. Which I told him after that, like that bothered me, and I was beating myself up for not having a pit board. He ended up telling me, Dad, if you had a pit board, I wasn't looking at it anyways. Like my head was down. Like that's my first time leading a race. Like my head was down and I was going. Like, and so that made me feel all right. But I told him, I was like, bro, you got to have enough confidence in your ability that you can run wide. Like you can't be freaking out grabbing too much brake. But so we had that situation, which he said he learned from. He told me at Brainerd, he's like, Dad, I ran wide one time and I went wide. He told me that at Brainerd that after his podium. He's like, Dad, like telling me that because of the advice I gave him, essentially he didn't crash out. You know what I'm saying? So that made me feel good for being able to share something with him that he actually learned from. But then the Road America debacle where we got freaking teabagged on the rear tire in the rain after we led the whole race like that. So to get that podium felt like a huge relief. Like I felt like he deserved it before then. Not trying to not taking anything away from any of the kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the kids are fucking fast as shit. But like I felt like he should have been there. Like little mistakes on my part, you know what I'm saying, with the team not having the bike properly. It didn't give him the opportunity to really run at pace, and then he crashed out the second race at Barber, and then just having bad luck at Road America. You know what I mean? He still finished fifth and I think fourth in the other race too. So he was there in the dry too. But so it was good. Like I definitely teared up for sure. Like
me too, bro.
Me too. I was at the pit wall. And see, Brainerd is such a weird track, bro. They're freaking like the pit wall is on the other side of the actual pits. Like you got to travel. It takes probably a couple minutes by pit bike to get to where you hold the pit board at from the actual hot pits to where the bike leaves. So
yeah, I've never been to Brainerd. So yeah,
but hey, let me just go ahead and throw this out there real fast since we've been leading up to what happened and everybody that helped us get to where we are. I think that I mentioned Louis and didn't get to elaborate on him any, but Louis is another one that stepped up. Lemons brought him on board. Lemons been an awesome supporter over the years, and he's brought so many. He's constantly trying to bring people in. Like if you see us out, Lemons is going to ask you to sponsor Isaac. So just go ahead and let's get that out the way. Just expect that because he's definitely going to ask you because he believes in this kid and man, he's supporting him big time. But he ain't afraid to ask nobody else to support him. But he brought in Louis. Louis got Screaming Mimi's Pizza in Savannah, which if you're ever in Savannah, bro, I had to go try it when I was in Savannah. He was sick or he had got surgery and couldn't make it, but I snuck up there anyways and went and tried it out. And I took Alessandro. It was me, Isaac, Alessandro, and Dimas. And which Alessandro and Dimas are both Italian, and they tried it. And like everybody was like, "Bro, it's legit pizza." It was great pizza. So definitely check that out if you're ever in Savannah. But Louis has been a huge support. Brent, Clemente Otto, and so many people have like, and it's all from like the race community, bro. Like just being around racers and them seeing the potential in your kid, and they reach out and say, "Hey, I want to help." And man, that's how we got here. Like I haven't asked nobody for shit, which it's getting to a point where I'm gonna have to start asking sponsors for support and help because he's outgrowing my pocketbook. But that's all right. We made it this far. We're gonna keep on pushing, and we'll push as long as we can. But
you belong
next season.
Here. You and Isaac, you belong here, and the reason why you're here, right? There's a reason for everything. So.
Well, I feel that too. I feel like there's always like everything happens for a reason, and like
100%.
Isaac just came from basketball, and he looks like oh my God.
Let me see him. Isaac, pop your head in here. What are you doing, boy? Look at that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And look, Rick Glover said, play the Jeopardy music for the pee break. Dude, I
Yeah,
don't
while
have
you
the
were gone for the
Jeopardy
pee break,
music.
which I was gonna start. I was trying to start communicating with them since you were gone, but I'm on my phone, so I opened up the comments and then ended up exiting it out whenever
Oh, it's all good, bro.
I hit the wrong thing.
I got you, dude. I freaking got you, homie. Kristen said my favorite was his podium after mom passed. Yeah. Absolutely.
What was that?
Oh, Anderson. When I won all 3 races.
Oh, at Anderson, he ended up. That was a mini race right at the weekend after. I mean, as my mom passed, we ended up going to South Florida mini GP event, which, like, my mom passing was really hard on me for sure. But so I asked if he wanted to go still, and he said yeah. And he's like, I want to go race for Mimi, and he went out there and freaking kicked everybody's ass by a lot.
First and foremost, man, I my deep condolences on your mom's passing, man.
Appreciate it.
My mom's still here, and she's getting up there in age, and I quite often what life's going to be like without her, right? So I feel you on that, man. But we have a comment for you specifically. Curtis says, my good buddy Andrew Davis, he's a club racer. He says, I'm getting ready to start my kid into racing. So how does the racing affect your father and son relationship?
Isaac, what do you think?
It makes it stronger.
Isaac said it makes it stronger. Like, over the years, like, I think he's got a lot of trust in me, but I'm a super honest, open, blunt father always anyways. So, like, I feel like we've already had a strong relationship. I'm always been honest about everything. But yeah, it now it can help, but then also there's other aspects of it, like how many kids do you have? Because, like, Isaac says it strengthened our relationship, but at the same time, my other relationships might take a hindrance because I have to put so much time and effort into his efforts. But like my daughter, she's been upset. Like she's been upset. Like now she's becoming a big supporter of him. She's probably his biggest fan. She watches all his races and she texts me and asks if what's going on and everything. But like she feels like that I favor him because I do so much for him. But at the same, like I tell her, like my oldest son, he did travel ball big time. Like we used to be in Tampa every other weekend almost. You know, at hotels and stuff doing travel ball. Like I was trying to give him the best opportunity to succeed. That's what I try to do with all my kids. So I try to tell her, like, hey, like, if you get super committed to something and you're super dedicated to something and it needs this same effort, like I'm gonna be there for you. You're a little bit younger now. He's at that age that it's requiring that. So it's like it's a balancing act too between, you know what I'm saying, the family aspect. So like yes, it can help in some aspects, but then it can hurt in other aspects. To be completely open and transparent.
I mean, it's I only have one kid. Me and my wife try to have another one. It just wasn't meant to be, but I could see where it would be a juggling act to have multiple kids. And how do I want to word this? It's not that a parent with multiple kids don't love their kids the same, right? It's a juggling act, just like what you said of trying to
set them up for their future success.
For everybody,
like,
right, to make everybody happy at the same time.
Like we gotta. My job is to try to set all of you up to succeed in life. In life,
yes.
At the end of the day,
yes.
And you know what I'm saying. So I gotta do what I gotta do to do that. And you know what I'm saying. Different ages are gonna require different commitments and different time, and you know what I mean. And like I'm only one person, so and like it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like don't get me wrong, their grandmother, like my mother passed, but their grandmother on their mother's side is a tremendous help, and she's a tremendous help with Raylan. So I can't act like I do everything by myself because if I did that, I would be an absolute liar. But like it's definitely it's definitely it's definitely hard when you get to this level to where when you're racing on a national level, like it takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of time, and it takes time away from the family.
It is, right? And people don't I think that a lot of people I don't think I know for a fact a lot of people don't understand, Curtis, the level of commitment that moms and dads and people put in effort just to make it to the races, right? They just see the legend Isaac show up in his
Well,
leather
here
with all these sponsorships and
a
all
little
that.
quick story of one of the little instances that probably made my relationship stronger. Just going through shit together, like we're racing on a national stage. Like I say, we're being as cheap as possible. I'm doing that this year too. We show up to Ohio. The rental car would have been like $600. I got the U-Haul van from an hour away with the transport and everything for like $350. So rented a U-Haul. Our flight didn't come in until 12:30. I had it reserved where they had the keys outside and everything. With my business, I use U-Haul. Sometimes I have a truck down, I use U-Haul, and just you can pick it up at any location. Well, so I know about that. So I had a truck ready to come get us us to pick it up at 12:30. We Uber from the airport to the U-Haul. We get there, and the people tell us that they can't confirm because I'm out of state. They can't give me the keys through the on the phone. They can't open the lockbox. Come to find out, they didn't have the keys in the lockbox. The owner didn't of the place didn't know for sure if I set the right time because it was 12:30 at night to come pick it up. He's right next to the airport. But needless to say, we had to sleep stuff in a U-Haul. In the U-Haul parking lot.
Hey, it's yeah.
Hey, because and Joe Shallow, that's another person that I didn't say that helps us out this season. Joe flew in with me, and I was like, bro, I got it. I got the U-Haul for us and everything. We'll be good. We're going to the track. The Brent's camper was at the track, so we just needed to get to the track. They had the RV there, bro. Then that happened, and it's like I'm like, bro, I'm looking at hotels. I'm like, now it just cost me like $60 to Uber from the airport here, which it wasn't even far. So I'm like, the hotel's going to be just as far. That's another $60, and then I'm going to have to pay for the hotel a couple $100. I'm like, bro, we
And then
sleeping
the Uber
here.
back to the track. Yeah, it's like
We're
yeah.
sleeping in a U-Haul parking lot
We're
tonight.
sleeping in the U-Haul, baby. Grab a pillow and
Oh
your
my
blanket.
God.
Let's get it in.
But like, hey, if you want it, it's hey, go get it. Like there's a will, there's a way. At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
like the will might run out before long, but yeah, for now we're pushing strong.
It won't, Curtis. Listen, again, I'm a firm believer, dude. You guys belong here. The love and support that you give each other, and everybody sees it, dude. Isaac's a future legend. He is a legend, not a future legend. He is a legend.
Hey,
right?
so let me throw this out there real fast. I don't want to interrupt you.
No,
but
you're good, bro.
The 20. So we're looking into 2025, and we found a team. We found a team kind of approached us a little bit that wanted us to kind of ride for them, which we still have an agreement with them and whatnot. We ain't got nothing free by no means, but they're helping us out and they're looking out for us. And then on top of that, they're teaming up with another people that we're associated with that helped us out. And then not only did it help us out, I was told that the people that they teamed up with wanted Isaac, so it kind of helped us, you know what I'm saying, get that spot. So to break the news, we're gonna be riding with Carnes Performance next year on a Suzuki GSX 8R, and TST Industry is another top sponsor. It's going to be Carnes Performance TST Industry, which I don't know if everybody doesn't know that's not around in the whole motorcycle scene, but the endurance series we raced this whole last year with TST Industries on a R7, which definitely isn't the fastest twins bike. So we didn't win anything, but we had a bunch of fun together. We rode with them all year and had a great time. And that was that was enough for them to say, hey, we want to support you, but if we're supporting you, how about look towards this kid and see if you can't make it happen for this kid being on that bike. You know what I mean? So big shout out to Carnes and TST. But then me and Carnes have been talking for a while. Chris Clark's dad, Fred, actually tried to get me to come on board with them our first year, but I already had the commitment with Sean, and he was really trying to push us to come on board with Carnes and told us it was a great opportunity and spoke very highly of Carnes and whatnot. And I guess Chris had talked to him and told him that he wanted Isaac as a teammate, and that's why he was approaching me about it. And this is what Fred told me. Much rest in peace. But that started the whole talk with the interest with Carnes. There was Fred put the bug in the air about Isaac, and I think Chris also spoke highly of Isaac's riding on the track to them and was like, he would be interested in having him a rider. So I think we've been on their radar. Carnes told me that at the beginning of the season that he thought about talking to me last year, but he wasn't fully committed to this year because of some other previous commitments and couldn't be at every round. So we've been in talks and had a relationship, and it ended up TST came on board and helped out. And then essentially at the end of the day, Lemons just stepped up to finalize to make me feel comfortable to say, yes, let's move forward, essentially, which I'm still going to have to look for a little bit more support. You know what I mean? But I have other people, like we got a good core of people that helped out last year that everybody seems that still on board, and they feel like this is the right opportunity. And for once, we're going to have a team around them and people that know what they're doing. And they're going to have suspension people, and they're going to have data people helping with data, and there's going to be telemetry on the bike. Like, bro, we've been faking it till we make it, bro. And like the kids put it on the box with me building the bike, bro. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Hey, they better watch out. That's all I'm saying, bro.
I love it, dude. And first and foremost, I just want to say that I had, for y'all that haven't caught it, I had Jason Carnes on the podcast the other day. Absolute amazing human being. Big shout out to Carnes Performance. And I tell everybody, even on the podcast, if anybody's in the market for a sports bike, a dirt bike, a pit bike, a side-by-side ATV, look no further than Carnes Performance, right? He's a buddy of mine, and I also believe in, and I want to help his business grow and point people in his direction, right?
Another thing that was really enticing was I felt like Jason's been talking to me for a long time, so I feel like Jason believes in Isaac too.
He does.
You know what I'm saying? He really believes in Isaac. So that's super appealing to me, you know what I'm saying? To have somebody, and then not only that, like he wants to freaking win. Like he's willing to put the work in and the time in with the bikes to develop them, which he's already been developing. The 8R he had down in Daytona. Levy was on it and did pretty well, especially for his he didn't get to ride all weekend and just jumped in the last race of the weekend and put it on the top of the box. And then Levy's going to be on the team also, so that's another thing that you're going to have somebody there that can push him and they can run together, and
iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely, and that's what I've always preached that. And so now I have the opportunity to be with somebody that's fast. You know what I'm saying? That's a podium contender already. You know what I'm saying? Isaac, I feel, is a podium contender too. Isaac's only 15, so she's turning 16 in January. It'll be 16 first race. So all you locals, you better freaking be there. Daytona, first race of the season, Twins Cup. Let's go.
Fucking go, right? Hey, if you're not there, you're missing out.
But our relationship isn't tarnished with BPM. Like there's still a possibility that we might be able to do a little bit of super sport here and there. We definitely can't commit to the full season just because of the financial aspect of the super sport. But we're talking about possibly the 200. So who knows? hey, so he's of age and he's available for the 200. So we're talking about possibly doing the 200. We're looking into that, and maybe might even look at doing a couple wild cards here or there. Who knows? Twins don't run in Atlanta, so that's essentially our home track. For actually, Daytona's our home track, but
Atlanta's the closest. Besides that,
well, Daytona's the closest. We're 45 minutes.
well,
but
I know, but I'm talking about outside of Daytona.
outside of
Atlanta's-
Daytona,
yes,
yeah, which Daytona's a rarity. It's been a rarity. Like
yes.
Daytona 200 is usually the only thing you run there. It's only the last couple of years that they've added these other Moto America stepped in and added some other classes and whatnot. But other than that, it was club racing, and the 200 was the only AMA stuff. But yeah, Daytona in March will be on a Gixxer or GSX8.
GSX-8R. Yes, GSX-8R. Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I'll be there. I'm actually staying with my buddy Billy Pedro. He's bringing his Winnebago down, so I'll be at the Daytona 200 this year.
Awesome.
So y'all see this guy running through the paddock in my bright pink shirt or my black shirt or whatever it is. You will see me. Trust me, you cannot miss me. I'll be running around, hanging out with all my friends, of course, especially Curtis and Isaac and everybody else. It's listen, I had a conversation with Jason after our podcast, and he had told me what was going on for 2025, Curtis, and I'd mentioned that before, we went live, that I talked to him. And when he told me that, man, I got goosebumps and I was so fucking excited. I said, dude, I told Jason, I said, you could not have picked a better father and son to be on your program. I said, I love Curtis and Isaac wholeheartedly. And, yeah, you won't regret it. He'll bring you nothing but success because they are some of the best people you're ever going to meet, right? And the vibes that they put off, and it's an amazing combination. I'm so excited for you guys. I was so excited. He's like, dude, you can't say nothing. I was like, I just want to text Curtis so fucking bad right now. You don't even know, bro. Like, I just want to fucking call him, right?
But yeah, so we had talks before, and we had been talking, of course, up before his podcast, and he asked if he could announce it on his podcast, and I told him sure, but we haven't completely committed yet. And then after the podcast Lemons ended up calling me up and telling me, hey, look, we need to make this happen.
Official.
And so thank God, what the blessing that Lemons is, they stepped up and was like, let's get this ball rolling. And that was enough for me to say, hey, that's like, he gave enough commitment to where I can feel comfortable going into the season. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like I can get enough support to take care of the risk. But at the end of the day, like, we're trying to make this kid as fast as we can and trying to win championships. So the more support, like, it ain't going in my pocket. Any support that comes is going in the program, baby. Like, I'm trying to breed a champion here. Like, I'm trying to make all of our kids fast. Like, anything that comes to the program, going back in the program. Like, we're working at getting him to the next level. And so,
absolutely. And Curtis, at the end of the day, I guess I always say the younger we get, right? But the younger we get, the older we get, however you want to word it. I always say the younger. Listen, our life is so short. What a beautiful life that we live, to share the same passion for the same sport that we give everything to. But at the end of the day, it's even more special for the bond that you and Isaac have together. That's something that when you're not here no more, he will always treasure, remember, right? So that's going to make him a better dad in the future, and he's going to give his all to his future kids too, as well, right? And have that special bond. And that's the way I am,
so.
dude. You don't hope. It's going to happen. It will happen, right? And you being you, and all the love and support you show your boy Isaac. Listen, it's paying it forward, right? So when he has even a daughter or a kid or whatever he has in the future, he's going to be the same way, right? It's like I'm the same way to my Rossi like my dad is to me, you know. And one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I was adopted. I never met, I hate to use the word fucking dad, but I never met my real father.
Yeah.
Seen a picture of him one time. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So the way my dad loves me, which is my real dad, right? My John Simcoe that raised me. That,
Oh yeah.
right. You met him, right?
Oh, for
So
sure. Few times. Couple times at least.
yeah, he's my role model even to this day. You know, it's I look up to him. You know, every advice he gives me, I take it wholeheartedly. You know, because that's my everything. Let's just be honest, right? Like you're everything to Isaac. You know, so that journey you guys are sharing right now, whatever the outcome is, it will never be forgotten, and it's worth the journey. Forget the money. Money ain't shit. You can't take it with you. To me, money's fake anyway, right? Let's just be honest. It's not real because as soon as you get it, it's gone anyway, right? We never really enjoy it. But that love and that bondship, dude, and it's just, dude, I'd rather have that than all the money in the world. 110%.
Oh,
So,
bro, like I don't ride no more, but the excitement of being a part of something like that, bro, like it's just as freaking good. Like, I'd say, like, I feel like a bunch of these guys that go out and race and try to chase like Moto America, like, I think that I don't want to talk down on anybody at all, but like, if some of these guys that are trying to just mark off Moto America off the checklist, like, out of supporting a young kid, like find a young kid to freaking support and freaking take all that you would be putting into marking Moto America off the checklist and put that into a kid that can potentially mark off the world stage off the checklist. Because you know what I'm saying? You're not going to do it. Like, anybody that's over a certain age that's still trying to race professional sports, like it's all for yourself. Which, granted, is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. Like, it's your fucking money. Do what the fuck you want with it. But like, from my perspective and of looking at it at the sport in the grand scheme of things, and looking at the future of the sport, and looking at America not having nobody on the world stage, like, how do we get these guys to start funneling this money into the youth of the sport instead of funneling it into their own, you know what I'm saying? Chasing a dream just to be out there. Like, why not support a kid that could be on the freaking world stage? Like, you're gonna get just as much out of that, if not more, than just being out there yourself. That's my perspective. That's the way I see things. And then, like, Lemons, he told me he told me this, so that let's go ahead and do it. And the reason he told me, he's like, I had more fun last year than I think I've had in my whole life. Like, being at the races with y'all and being part of it, and just being part of it. You know what I mean? Like, when you support a kid, like, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, you feel all that shit, bro. Like, Jeff and his wife talking about crying whenever Isaac got on the podium, bro. The emotions, like, raw emotions, like, that's from supporting a kid, bro. That's like, it's special, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not telling everybody, like I think it's freaking awesome. Like, Andreas, my buddy, he said, he's got that goal to mark Moto America off a checklist now because he just won a bunch of national championships as the amateur and stuff, and been doing awesome. He's been doing awesome. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I would never I don't like. I think that he should do that. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that he should mark that box off. You know what I'm saying? But then on the other side of the note, like, after you mark that box, which he's already been supporting Isaac, you know what I'm saying? He's already got that excitement and knows that too. But, like, I just can't express enough how much, like, go support some local kids, bro. And I'm not talking about just support my kid. Like, go support some local fucking kids. Like, these kids need support. Like, it takes a freaking village. This shit's expensive, bro. Like, the only way we're gonna make America great with racers again is to start supporting the youth of the sport. Get more people behind it, and more sponsors, and more money devoted to these kids.
100%. I mean, Curtis, I couldn't have said it.
I've been rambling. I'm so sorry.
Dude, don't be sorry. Listen, this is your podcast, bro. This is why I had you on here, because I know you had a lot to talk about and a lot to say, right? But you didn't realize you had this much to say, right?
No, not
but
at all.
it's good, man. I think a lot of it too has to do because we're such good friends and we're comfortable with each other, and you just right, you got, dude, talk away. It's not a big deal, dude. We're almost 2 hours and 30 minutes in this podcast. I fucking love it, dude.
There's some people probably mad, like, y'all need to shut the hell up.
Yeah, y'all need
My
to shut the
daughter's
fuck
in there
up.
like, Dad, we gotta eat dinner, bro. What are you doing?
Right. So listen, you guys stay tuned, because me and Curtis are definitely gonna sit down and do a part 2, because there's still so much more we gotta talk about. Yeah, so listen, this has been an absolute honor, Curtis. Me too. I'm gonna go because I got freaking starving. My wife shoot me text her, you could come and eat dinner. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in a few minutes, right? Hour and a half later. You've been in there for 2 hours and 30. No, dude, don't be sorry, Curtis. Listen, no regrets, dude. I value this more than anything, right? So it's absolutely Alex Hample. Enjoyed listening to you guys. You already know the love, Alex, for
Awesome.
sure.
Alex is awesome. Alex is
a
another
legend.
South Florida mini GP.
Yes, he is.
Jamie's dad.
Jamie, yep.
2 awesome daughters that race.
Yes. I had Jamie on my podcast. You go back and guys. Go back
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I need to sit back down and actually do a revisit and do a part 2 with Jamie too as well. Kristen says I cannot wait for part 2. Me too, Kristen. Stay tuned. But yeah, so listen, before we get off here, Curtis, let me ask you this: what advice would you give to the future parents that are listening to this that are thinking about getting their kids into racing?
So Danny curses me every time he sees me and tells me it's my fault that he's that he's in this sport. And he's like, bro, I had money. I don't have none no more.
I'm broke now.
So, like, it's a stupid expensive sport. Like, I don't know. My best advice would be to keep it fun and test the waters with national stage, but don't go throwing freaking everything at the, I don't know. It's so two-sided because, like, on one side, I want to say don't, like, if you're not there yet, like, get there first. Like, it's hard to, it sucks seeing kids out there struggling and fighting themselves, you know what I mean? Rather than being prepared. But on the same token, like I told Danny, I'm like, bro, you'll never be prepared until you do it. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, there's no answer to any question with this. Like, all of us are faking it till we make it, bro. Like 110%. Like, everybody has their own philosophy and their own path and their own thought. Like, that are, for instance, Michael Correa's path for Julian is overseas. Like, I couldn't afford that. I couldn't do that. Like, I wasn't in a situation to do that. So, like, I had to take another path. My path was production bikes. You know what I'm saying? So, like, first off, I guess you got to evaluate where you're at and be realistic. Like, don't go chasing pipe dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like, be realistic with what you can afford and what you can manage and what you can do, and go from there. But don't ever, like, if your kid's freaking got it and you believe in them, like, give them a fucking shot. Like you just said, it's fucking money. At the end of the day, like, we can't take it with us. Like, we only live once too. So, like, don't go freaking financing your house or refinancing your house and think that your kid's gonna freaking become a MotoGP star and get you out of debt, because that's not gonna happen. Go into it knowing that you're trying to make a better person. You're trying to give him opportunity. If it's there, if it's not there, then at least he's going to learn he's going to learn some valuable life lessons along the way. You know what I mean? And he may be able to, like, I've always thought, like, I started Orlando road racing after I did the Broke AF racing. I had to, whenever you become a professional racer, race in any professional series, you have to have a team. So my first team was Broke AF racing, Broke and Fast racing. After that, we got a sponsor for Moto America. And I'm like, hey, I told Andreas, I'm like, I can't have Broke AF racing if we're going to Moto America because it looks like Broke as fuck racing. So
It does. That's what I thought.
So
when I seen this shirt, I was like, broke as fuck. Let's go.
So I had a joke. I used to tell people, I like, see, yeah, the slow people don't get it. So they think it's as fast, you know what I'm saying? Or they think it's as fuck instead of as fast because slow people don't get it. But then I put hashtag as fast on the back so that, like, I've had people looking at my shirt laughing and I walk by and then they bust out when they see the back. Like, oh my God, they actually get it and fast. But so with the Moto America, I had to change it, and I was in my thought process is what can I do to help Isaac's future? Like, what can Isaac? What if this doesn't work out? Is there anything that I can do now to potentially set him up for success outside of racing? And my thought process was start Orlando Road Racing, which we still haven't done anything with, but we have the name. You know what I mean? And the idea. Ideally, like, I would love to get some support behind and start an academy, like I said, what they do with baseball. I feel like if we put the same effort into motorsports as we did with baseball, as we do here with baseball, then we could be successful on the world stage. I don't think we need Spain. I think going to Spain is asking them to give us the secrets when they want to be the best. Why the fuck would they tell us what to do? That's my thought process. Yeah, like, hands down, you can look at Julian's progress and tell that it's paying off for him and that he's fast as shit. You know what I mean? But we're doing a fraction of that of what they're doing, and Isaac's fast as shit too. Like, he's like Julian's got an edge on him right now on the Supermoto. That's the only comparison we have. No doubt, Julian has edge on him, but like, it's been back and forth. Like, when they first got on Supermotos, Isaac was faster. You know what I'm saying? Isaac's beat him. He's beat Isaac. Like, they go back and forth. So, like, if you can afford to be overseas, then maybe that's the ticket. But if, like, because they're doing it right, but if you can't, don't think that you can't bust your ass here and still make a fast ass racer. You know what I'm saying? There's other avenues. Like, just get a kid like Isaac. I got Andrew involved, and Andrew used to come over in the front yard and they would freaking do circle drills, and then they would set up cones. All we had was the road, bro. The road in front of my house. That was our parking lot. What is that? Freaking 16, 20 feet wide. Like, just a standard residential neighborhood. I live in the suburbs, and freaking they're out in the front yard doing circle drills and racing. Put an oval up and they're racing, and the only way to pass is to stuff the shit out of the person. And it's like the first time Andrew ever stuffed Isaac. Like, Andrew wouldn't stuff Isaac. The first time he ever stuffed Isaac, Isaac throws the bike down and, like, jumping up like, let's go. And it's like, bro, like, that's what makes freaking riders fast, bro. Stay on a bike. Like, my best advice is to freaking ride as much as you can. I don't even care what it is. Flat track is awesome training. Like, but just twisting the throttle and twisting it hard. We put Isaac this off season spent so much time on a little pool start that we had in the backyard, and he run it up my yard and made his own little flat track out of the pool start and the Z. Him and Alessandro back there racing. Anybody come over, Andrew comes over, you got him back there racing and stuff in the backyard. It's seat time, twisting that throttle, getting used to and comfortable being on two wheels. And I think that, like, in the dirt and flat track and stuff like that definitely help the bike moving around and stuff too. Like, don't throw all your eggs in one basket. Like, play around in different disciplines and stuff too. Like, our eggs are all in road racing, don't get me wrong, but in that one basket. But when it comes to training, like, I'm completely open-minded to dabble in everything. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it comes down to financial restraint. What can you afford? Because every other discipline needs its own freaking bike. So that was a long answer. Sorry again.
Dude, don't ever be sorry, bro. Listen, your answer is valued, and you're a dad, so you have a different perspective than the kids that I have on here, right?
And I
Talking
didn't give a
about
straight
this
answer because I gave like 10
dude,
different
it's
directions.
good though, but the answer you gave come from your heart, and that's all that matters, right? And
Oh, for
that's
sure.
going to make the most impact, right? So people that parents are going to be listening to that will take heed to that, right? Instead of somebody blowing smoke up somebody's ass. So, bro, it was a proper.
If
Mega.
you can afford coaching, get it. Like it's good. Like we haven't been that grateful to where I could like outside of mini GP, which is granted that's some good shit. But like one-on-one coaching will go a long way too. Like if you can afford stuff like that, like as a parent, like those are the things that I wish I could do. You know what I'm saying? But like going into the season, Jason already told me that he actually asked me if Isaac ever had one-on-one coaching. We're racing on a national level. He got a podium and he's never had one-on-one coaching before.
He's a legend.
Jason
Isaac's
said,
an absolute legend.
Jason said this offseason, or we have 2 testing planned this in January for the off season. And he said at one of the events he's going to have somebody there for Isaac. So he said he wants Isaac at his best. So, and it's looking promising, bro. The people behind him want him to succeed, and he wants to succeed.
Me
I
too.
asked him what he thought, and he said he's ready to win.
He's been ready to win. You see it this past year, 2024, 2023, right? And people see it in SFL Mini GP. Listen, with that, it's been a proper mega time. It's been an absolute honor, Curtis, and I can't thank you enough for all the love and support. Not only do you show me as a friend, but my podcast too, and all the tickets you hooked me up with last year. Looking forward to getting to hook up again next year on tickets. But listen, it's your journey's been absolutely amazing. Isaac's a fucking legend, bro. Let's just be honest, right? He's the real deal. Man, what there's so much I want to say right now. First and foremost, man, big shout out to Curtis and his son Isaac. Big shout out to Next Level Financial, Seth Starnes, and also his suspension. Because he does suspension. I'm trying to remember the name of
Next level.
Next Level Finance, Next Level Suspension. There you go. Thank you, Curtis. Brain fart on my end. I apologize. Anybody looking for a leather suit? BisonTrack.com. Actually, Isaac and them, they're sponsored by Envy, right? From
Yeah, you
Darwin.
just reminded me. I'm like, dang, I didn't even
Yep.
show Darwin no love, bro.
Dude,
Darwin's been a huge supporter of us throughout the years too. I got mad love for Darwin, MB Racing Imperial. I know that you got Bison, so I ain't trying to. I don't want to.
Dude, you're good. Listen,
like they have a good relationship too. Like Darwin
They
has a
do.
good relationship with Robert and everything. From what Darwin told me, I've never met them, but Darwin is awesome people, awesome leathers for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I've never said this to you. I told Robert and Tasha this. I originally reached out to Darwin and Envy to get me a full leather suit before I reached out to Robert Bison and them. Right. Never heard anything back. I text Darwin, never replied. Not saying that he didn't mean to. He's just been so busy, right? And I get it. Listen, Envy Racing, absolute proper mega.
Yeah, Darwin does
suit.
it. Darwin kind of does it as like a side gig, but
He does.
He's super like
gig.
once you're in the family, he's super
You're
supportive
in.
for sure.
Yes,
but
yes, 100%.
he definitely has a full-time job. I think
Yes, he does.
Bison are like they done threw it. They done went all in, and they're
They're full time to the program within Mid America. But listen, you guys stay tuned because I got Darwin Envy Racing coming on the podcast. So you guys get to hear his whole story. So whatever leather suit you guys want to choose and go with, all of them proper mega. I just recommend don't buy an off the rack suit. Go with a custom.
Oh, for sure. Get a custom suit for sure.
Dude, 110%. So big shout out to Bison. Big shout out to Envy. Chef Eats. Everybody knows I talk about Chef Eats every freaking podcast, right? Just like I do SFL Mini. But if you haven't got on Chef Eats program, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and place that order, get it in. There
How
it
do I-
is, right?
Chef Eats right here.
Bro, dude, listen, forget bringing the grill and the propane tank and the charcoal and all that. Bring a microwave. You're already going to have a generator because you got to have tire warmers to plug up to the generator, right? Bring the microwave, plug it in, throw the Chef Eats in. Listen, amazing. Their steak is juicy. Their chicken is freaking fabulous. His whole meals are great. He does athlete meals. Just go to chefeats.com. There's so much shit that he offers, and it's amazing food. What are you waiting for? You guys hear me say all the time. Flying Eyes Optics for all your sunglass needs. Of course, SFL Mini GP. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan of FSL. That's where all our future legends of our sports coming from, such as Isaac himself. All you got to do is look at the Moto America grid, right, Curtis? You see, dude, Isaac, Avery, Ella. The list goes on, and I'll be here for another 15 minutes talking about everybody coming out of there. Go ahead, Curtis.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. You said Ella, and I was like, oh yeah, Ella's badass for sure.
She is.
South Florida kids, that's where if you want your kid to be fast, bring him to South Florida. Like, hey, this winter, Bushnell, Anderson will be there training. Come down and train. Iron sharpens iron. We'll share. We'll help you get faster. We don't have no problem helping you get faster because if you get faster than us, we're just going to learn from you. Let's go.
That's right. That's right. That means we get to get behind you and get a toe and learn something to make us faster, right? And again, I tell everybody, SFL Mini GP is a no bullshit program, meaning you sign up, you register, you don't have to have a bike, leathers, boots, gloves, helmets, back protector, none of that bullshit. You sign up, you register, you show up, guess what? You getting on the track, you having fun, you dragging knees, and you're going to fall in love with our beautiful freaking sport that we have.
It's amazing how fast they get people dragging knees on minis too. It's freaking awesome. Like people ride their whole life on sport bikes, wishing to drag a knee, and they come out to one event at a mini GP event, and these kids got them to drag a knee. It's insane.
It's absolutely. I can't wait because I've been Rick Glover. I'm gonna actually stay with him when I come down to Florida. When of course I can stay with you guys too, but I'm gonna bring Rossi with me, man, so he can get on SFL Mini and get out there, ride with everybody. 110%. Big shout out to RD Racing out there in the UK and BSB that really supports me. I love you guys so much, and his son Jake March, future legend, BSB guy. Big shout out to Vet2Truck, any of my veterans out there. Go to vet2truck.com. My buddy Jim Whitman's got one of the best programs, the best program out there, tackling PTSD one lap at a time. Absolutely amazing. Big shout out to 64 Degree Racing. Listen, I'm a Bison ambassador, but everybody knows you can't show up to a track or a track day just with one freaking undersuit. You got to have multiple undersuits. Trust me. If you don't have
we come with 3 or 4 of them for sure.
Bro, 110%, because you're gonna be out there sweating, stinking. The next day you wake up, you're gonna smell it. You'll be like, I am not putting that wet, moldy, nasty thing back on, right? So get multiple ones, right? So my favorite one piece, of course, is my Bison. The reason why I say that, Bison's got a unique feature in their one-piece suit where they have a man zipper to where when we get out of our top, right, we just unzip, we do our business, we zip it back up, we're good to go. As far as two-piece goes, listen, 64 Degree Racing, hands down, my favorite undersuit when it comes to two-piece, one-piece, Bison, of course. Ghetto Custom, anybody out there looking for aftermarket body work, look no further than the Guess and Cut. Ghetto Customs, my buddy Chris Parrish, which you guys know who Chris Parrish is. He's a freaking legend. Big shout out to my man Martin that owns the Clothing Kings. You guys can go to clothingkings.co.uk out there and order all your Pendergast merch. I have everything out there: beanie hats, sweatshirts, jackets, the whole nine. Big shout out to Sports Bike Track Gear, man. I mean, if you're going to order anything online, as far as that stuff goes, dude, Brian Van and Max are absolutely super amazing human beings. And to support our friends in the sport, it means everything to us. It really does. I need you guys to go to Road Racing World and sign up for the fun and donate. Our air fence is, we need it, right? And what they're doing for our sport is absolutely amazing. They've been doing it for a long time. But do me a favor, go sign up, donate. I don't care if you just donate $10. Listen, everything else, right? And if you're lucky enough, you show up to the track during a Moto America weekend. I forget what the minimum charge is. I think it's $350. I need to call Chris or send him a message just to be sure. Then you get a
Two-up ride?
yeah, dude, you get a fucking 2-up ride with a legend, dude, Chris Ulrich. And
Dude,
then you
yeah,
can
that's
see for
sick.
yourself, yes, how a proper bike works and how deep you can break in a corner and
Bro.
accelerate. Yeah, bro.
I don't know if I'll get on that bike, but bless their hearts. Oh my God, it looks fun, but I don't know. I want to be in control.
I would do it. Fuck that. I'm doing it. We only live once. I'm fucking all in. Let's go.
Oh, I would
right?
do it. I'd have to do it, but God.
110%. Listen, big shout out to Carnes Performance. Anybody in the market for a dirt bike, street bike, UTV, ATV performance, they do a bunch of performance stuff. You want to get your ECU turned, whatever it is, look no further than Carnes Performance in Pennsylvania, and KYT. If you're not in a KYT helmet, what are you doing?
And
Right?
you can't mention Carnes performance anymore without throwing TST in there, because that's our team going forward. So TST Industries right here in Florida, which is
I gotta write that down in my notes so I don't. TST Performance.
I gotta throw my TST brother some love. Bart over there at TST, the owner of TST, right here in Lake Helen, Florida, which is in between me and Daytona. He's right outside of Daytona.
I love it. I love it. So I
They're also
apologize.
supporters of the sport. Been supporting the sport for a long time. They have a whole bunch of. Check out their website. They got all kinds of stuff for your street bikes and even racing bikes and even minis for sliders and whatnot. They got all types of stuff.
Dude, listen, absolutely. So yeah, TST Performance, Carnes
TST
Performance.
Industry.
TST Industry. Sorry, I got performance on my brain for some reason. I wrote TST Performance. I crossed it out.
You're good.
Industry. I got you. I got to get this shit right, Curtis. Right. I'm not good with names if I don't write shit down. You know, we're getting younger. If I don't write it down, I
gotta take notes all the time.
Bro, my phone, yeah, absolutely. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an absolute proper mega podcast. We're almost 3 hours into this, and it's been, listen, some of the best 3 hours I ever spent in my life. I wouldn't do it any other way than sit down with my good friend, Curtis Woodworth, and his son, the legend Isaac. So next year, 2025 in Moto America, when you guys show up to the track, make sure you go straight over there to Carnes Performance and say what's up to Isaac and Livy Batty and Elisa. Give all the hugs, and I'm sure they have merch for sale. Go on and buy you see my Isaac t-shirt right here, right? Yeah, I did.
Sure.
Listen, I paid for this, right? I didn't get it for free. I paid for it. You know why? Because I love my race family so much that I'd rather give them the money than go to a MotoGP race and buy a Pedro Acosta hat or a Jack Miller or whatever.
We appreciate the support.
Dude, 110%. I appreciate your guys' support, because without you, I wouldn't be here, right? Same thing. Without us, you wouldn't be there, right? So, listen, nothing but love. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode will be out on Spotify, all that good shit. If you missed this 3-hour episode, you can, as soon as I stop this, you can go back to my YouTube and my Facebook channel and watch it all over from the very beginning. And thanks to everybody that tuned in: Jeff, Daniel, Christian, Rick, Michael Carrera, everybody.
Appreciate all of you.
Listen, I love all you guys and girls so much. You have no idea. Thanks for all the love and support. And yeah, I hope your guys' weekend is as proper mega as you. And don't forget the last MotoGP race. Are you Team Martin?
Martin for sure.
Pecco. Fucking Martin. Let's go. That's what I'm saying,
Team
right?
Martin.
Leave a comment down below.
Team Martin. I thought Martin should have got the freaking Ducati ride last year.
Bro,
that's my opinion.
A whole nother conversation. Me too, Curtis.
Yeah.
We
could keep on going and going and going. So yeah, we got to shut it down.
Dude, 100%. Dude, I'm freaking starving. Your daughter's gonna come out there and be like, "Dad, I'm freaking hungry," right? So yeah.
Hey, thanks to all the people that supported us this year, bro. We couldn't have done it without them throughout the years. Everybody that supported. Thanks this year, German, BPM. Thanks Brent, Clemente Auto. Thanks Louie with CC or with Screaming Mimi's Pizza. Thanks Lemon with Lemon Racing, and Joe with RSR Motorsports, and KYT. Yes, definitely. Curtis showed support over the years. K-Tech had support for us for sure. Chef Eats, like, bro, there's just so many people that's helped over the year. Vortex throwing us support. Like, I guess I could look at the bike and try to figure out more of that.
And
Thank
Envy,
you.
big shout out to
Oh,
Darwin and
big
Envy
shout out to
Apparel.
Envy for sure. Darwin and Envy. Bro, I forget you. I'm sorry, but like, Paul Vance down in South Florida has been a supporter of Isaac for a long time. Paul Vance with I'm drawing a blank on his business, but he's been a super supporter of us. Like so many people.
Daniel said, "Is this past your
Big
bedtime,
time.
Curtis?" I love it.
So many people that I just want to say thank you to and appreciate all the support. I couldn't do it without y'all, and Isaac's working to make y'all proud. So thank you for believing in him.
Listen, you guys stay tuned. 2025 season is going to be a proper mega for Karn's performance and everybody involved in the team, especially Isaac. Yeah, so I can't wait for a bunch of these W's to come in. I will be at a lot of the races this year. I'll be at Daytona, Road Atlanta, Jersey, Mid Ohio. We're coming back to fucking VR. Let's go. So I'll be there too. So yeah, I'm gonna plan a trip to Florida, bring my son and hang out with Curtis and Isaac and everybody down there. So yeah, listen.
We got to try to get to VIR and do a track day before the VIR round. We never rode VIR. We got
Bro.
3 new tracks this year that that Isaac's gonna have to ride. So we got some learning to do.
You have a free place to stay here in Virginia. I'm an hour and 30 minutes away from VIR. Dude, you and Isaac come up. I got you guys a bed, a room. I will feed you guys. You ain't got to do nothing. I'll cook for you the whole 9 yards. So you guys got a free place to stay. Dude, you already know, dude. No fucking problem, bro. You just let me know when you're coming. I got you.
Yes,
me casa, you casa for life. No issues. Anytime you're in Virginia, dude, you got a free place to stay. So yeah.
That's the only one we'll probably be able to practice at before later. I don't see no way getting out to Laguna before the Laguna or the Ridge before the Ridge round. So he's just gonna have to learn and get thrown to the wolves. It won't be the first time.
It won't be, right? But the good thing is we got YouTube and all that shit that.
Like he studies his ass off. He's good at that. He studies a lot. He studies for weeks at a time and YouTube and calling people and talking to people, and he does everything.
So one question I do have, Curtis, before I end this podcast is, do you guys have any merch available now that people can actually go and buy from you guys? Or
we have some shirts from the shirts that you have on from this season. I have a ton of those.
Bro, well, there you go. Listen, how do people get in touch with you to purchase these?
Reach out to Isaac on Instagram, probably best. Or me on Facebook.
Or if not, hit me up on a message. I'll put you in direct contact with either Curtis or Isaac. Please, every bit helps. Trust me. I love my shirt. I wear it.
It's a pretty sick picture on the back.
Dude, I'm going to show everybody. Hang on. Look, check it out.
Squat down a little. Oh. You should have squatted down just a little, but
okay. I got you. No, hold up. I got you.
Too much.
Was that better?
Yeah.
I should have put some dollar bills in the back there, right?
You should have shook it a little bit.
I should have. Maybe I'll save that for part 2 on the podcast.
Okay.
Stay tuned, right?
You gotta tune in if you want to see it.
That's it. So let's fucking go. But anyway, listen, I hope your guys' weekend is as proper as mega as you. I love every single one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you had not yet, please go to all my platforms, hit that like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Tune in for the MotoGP race this weekend. Let's fucking go, Jorge Martin. The last thing I'm going to say, it's been an absolute honor to sit down with my friend and the legend himself, Curtis Woodworth.
Thank you, sir.
You guys are welcome. All right, let me end this. Bro, this has been a lot of fun.